You are now entering Maximum Driftcast, the only drifting podcast hosted by a Spanish soccer mom, a 30-year-old silver-haired fox going on 60, and finally, a 200-pound bowl of spaghetti with chimichanga arms.
The champions, we are the champions.
And welcome to Maximum Driftcast. This is Officer Dan directly from Tempe, Arizona, and I'm about to talk to you guys about the.
Is
Drift
that what you
Week.
think he sounds like?
He totally sounds like that.
Dan, can I hear what you sound like real quick? I gotta do a comparison.
This is Officer Dan with the High Plains Police Department. He was almost close. I just can't really understand his dialect. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I like how our green screen is reacting to your headphones, and it looks like you just have gigantic gauges in your ears, and we can see behind you.
That is
That's
pretty
good.
good.
Yeah, so we've got Daniel. We haven't come up with a really cool nickname for
Daniel
Brock, have we?
Daniel Sprocket.
Daniel Sprocket. I guess that's a cool nickname. I don't know. What did Jared have a name for you in FD, Dan?
I don't
think
think I drove enough to get a nickname.
Oh, well, we should give you one by the end of the show. I don't think Daniel Sprocket is it.
Nah, that was just like a on the fly.
No, I feel like he called you Officer Dan. I think that's the easy one. Right?
Yeah, he did. I came pre-installed with a nickname.
Yeah, lucky you.
Andy Luck.
Officer Dan.
Andy Luck calls him Aussie for Dan. That's a classic.
Yes, he
Officer
does.
Dan.
Awesome.
And yeah, Dan is just here on the show to just be here with us on this crazy moment when, you know, it's been such a shocker, it's such a surprise that they have finally revealed the new judge at FD, and it caught everyone by surprise. No one had any idea this was happening. Dan, who's the new judge at FD?
Mr. Nishida.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
told
got
you.
you.
I
You
told you.
stupid idiots. No one guessed.
Even though I told everybody it rhymes with Bushida, and nobody
Yeah.
could guess it.
How did nobody get that?
Everyone got it. Everyone. knew.
Everybody knew
It
it.
was,
I
it
was
was the
gonna
worst
say.
kept secret of all time.
There was a change.org petition to have me be a judge.
I would be
They
down
got
with
like
that.
I would have signed it.
6.5 votes.
Yeah, we would have signed that in a heartbeat. Fuck
Yeah,
Robbie.
I would love-
No, just kidding. Robbie will be a good judge, I think.
yeah, he will be.
Speaking
He's
of
much more qualified than me.
No.
terrible kept secrets, before we start the show, we made it on Pass Magazine. Pass Mag.
Yes.
Yeah, we made it third best podcast next to
Third?
Hoonibers and the Smoking Tire.
Wow.
Sam has a history with Hoonibers, and
Hooniverse,
he's been on the Smoking Tire.
My buddy Jeff was the reason why I got to go to FD in the first place. I needed someone to essentially sponsor my attendance to go, so FD knew I just wasn't a total chump, which I was. And Jeff backed me up sight unseen. And now he has ruined our podcast awards. So thanks, Jeff. I guess,
Thanks, Jeff.
Yeah, hey.
it's cool to make it on that list considering Smoking Tire is kind of by far and away
The
10,
biggest.
30, 10, 20, 30 times more viewed, listened to, watched to than us. So, goddamn
Podium.
fat Mara, that Matt Farah. He had Jacob on the show this week actually from RS. I've been on the show. I'm probably the least popular, least cool person to ever be graced on that show. I don't know what I was doing there. But
It wasn't a bad podcast.
thanks, Paco. I appreciate that.
You talk about Driftcast for like 35 seconds.
Yeah, that's because you guys mean nothing to me.
Yeah, obviously.
Look, you don't go on a pod to talk about your pod, but
True.
we will
True.
on this pod. The main reason we got Daniel here and why we're going to have a bunch of other peeps is to talk about a little week of drifting.
Which, by the
Bad.
way, I have a big complaint, Sam.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, Aaron Losey, if you're listening.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm about to drop down like the heavy hard hand of the law right here.
Dropping hammers.
False advertisement. The event's
Uh-oh.
called Drift Week. Should be called Drift Weeks.
Why?
2 weeks. It's too long.
Was Dan,
Technically, it is.
It's
You can
2 weeks
verify?
of drifting.
I can verify. So, the premise of Drift Week is there's going to be 7 actual videos at 7 different tracks.
Mm.
So there's 7 days in a week, so that matched up to 7 videos and 7 tracks.
So the
that's
entire event was a lie, essentially.
basically we
Okay.
had to take days in between. We couldn't teleport from track to track, unfortunately.
Did you consider that maybe you should have, or like what's the deal? with that?
We did. I tried to teleport, and look where that got me upside down.
So this is for those that don't follow any drift news and don't follow any of these influential drifty people on the Instagram or otherwise. What is Drift Week? You just mentioned that it's 7 tracks, 7 videos, but like what was the overall premise?
The basis is 7 tracks. I think 4 states. Yeah, 4 states, 7 tracks, 2 weeks. Everybody had to drive their drift cars, to and from each event, compete at each event, do a challenge at each event, and then end up doing again for the crowning of the winner of Drift Week, whose cars survived and who got the most points during the challenges. That is the brass tacks.
Yeah. And how so the crazy part about this that gets me is the thrash drift car at track and then drive states away in said car. Because back in the olden days when I was a drifter, I'd say about 40% or more of the time not make it home from the track the 10-minute drive it took to get to my house because something was tragically broken. So it's incredible that most cars made it through this.
And most cars did. That's insane. It's insane. One of them had a dog box.
Yeah.
It was nutty.
So how were points given?
I wouldn't know. I was DQ'd from pretty much every challenge because I didn't make it to the first event.
Oh no.
What happened?
Wait,
How you didn't make it to the first event, Dan? Tell us.
Well, we got a late start, and June flew in. I flew in my co-pilot from Japan for this. I overnighted people
Mhm.
from Japan. It's a thing you do sometimes. And we headed off, and it was about 3 o'clock in the morning in Sweetwater, Texas, and a part of my car decided to brake and sent us careening across 3 lanes of highway, a shoulder, and 40 feet of grass median up onto the other side of the frontage road. And when we got out of the car, my trailer happened to be not in the correct position, aka upside down. So I had done flipped it.
Full 180 trailer.
Yeah, I don't know how many times it flipped, but it flipped enough
Yeah.
times to where the chain had tightened up against the bumper, and we had a really hard time getting it off.
And
my
the
God.
car somehow did not flip.
No, somehow the car did not flip, and we came about 4 feet away from hitting one of those big highway light poles. Like,
Yeah.
my track just goes right in front of it, so we got super, super lucky. There was no traffic, no wall, and we didn't hit that pole. So we laugh about it now because it was kind of funny. The first thing June did was ask me if I was asleep. And I was like, unfortunately, no, I was not asleep.
What actually broke, do you know?
It was one of the control arms that I should have changed out on the car that I didn't. It had already broken, and we had welded it once. And I'm an idiot. I'm lazy, and I didn't change it, and it decided to snap at 75 miles an hour on the freeway.
But you were towing a trailer in a Z.
Yes.
And it was like, is it the trailer you're in right now?
No, this is so I cheated. There's the drift car, and I actually towed my car everywhere after that because there's more to that story once we actually got to Albuquerque. No, that trailer I had distributed the weight evenly when I was loading it and building it. I actually did it on a scale, so it was sat on a scale, and tongue weight was great. We could tow that thing at like 85, no wobbles, no weirdness, and then that happened, and that.
All right, would you endorse the Z as a good tow vehicle?
With stock suspension, 110%.
I mean, so like one of the things about Drift Week is that almost everybody were maybe not everybody, but a lot of the guys were towing tires and stuff behind their drift street car.
So here's some more details then on that note. So everybody got 10 wheels and tires inside a support trailer that was behind us. Aaron had a set of communal tools, jack stands, everything that you would basically need. But all of us were coming from so many different places, and a lot of people didn't want to trailer their cars all the way to Texas, drive their cars to California, then have to drive their car back to Texas to their truck and trailer. So a lot of us built our own little trailers to at least get our wheels and tires down there to put in Aaron's support trailer. And they ended up just keeping their stuff on those trailers the whole time and towed it all the way through the whole trip. So that's why that happened, because we got a very, very, very limited amount of space inside of Aaron's trailer to actually live out of.
Yeah. And what was it's okay if you don't remember every single name, but what was the driver lineup here?
We had myself, we had Chelsea DeNofa, we had Matt Field, we had David Mesker, we had Aaron Losey, we had Trevor Jameson, we had Adam LZ, we had, did I say Matt Field yet?
Yep.
Maybe.
I did say Matt Field? Maybe. We had Matt Field, we had Axel Francois, we had Fielding Shredder.
Australian mate.
Someone's...
Yeah, and we had Luke Fink.
It's quite an international roster of drivers.
It was supposed to be Michael Van Schellenbach, but he didn't show up to the last event, and he showed up with a broken car, so he doesn't count.
Oh.
He counts less than I do, and I already didn't count.
And what was the highlight of the experience for you before we go to a low light that everyone wants to hear about? But what was the highlight?
Being alive.
Being alive is the highlight? So you're just pumped to have survived at the end of this?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, we were so happy. No, actually, the highlight of my trip was in Tucson. I drove 2 days in a row without breaking anything on my car. I went through 2 tanks of E85 and about 16 tires, which is a first for me. And I actually cried at the track we went to in Tucson, and Brandon got that in his video. Like I couldn't contain myself. I was so excited.
Yeah. Was that a Musselman circuit?
No, that was at Indy. So we got a full day at Indy, and after my first session, we got little half-hour sessions. I have lost it internally.
Nice.
It was not drifting.
Yeah.
So.
Like this is like a new experience to you, Dan. Like not braking.
It was, and then everybody else was working on their cars after Musselman, and I didn't have anything to do, so I just drank beer.
Because your car just worked.
Yes, it was so
incredible.
That's so pretty.
It did. It felt really good.
When I caught up to you, and a bunch of the other dudes came to my place of employment, Race Service, the day before the last day. I caught up with you, and you had told me, I don't mind not drifting for a little bit. You said you love drifting, and that hasn't changed, but you felt kind of drifted out.
Yeah, it was a lot. It was like doing a full season of Formula D in 2 weeks.
Right.
Like just same amount of traveling, same amount of time being in a car, same crappy hotels on the freeway, same fixing things when they did break. But it was with a lot closer group of people, which made it all that much more better.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
Well, we want to not talk about it with every single driver here, but if anyone knows only one detail about this week, there is a.
Well, hold on. I think. Sam, can you repeat that?
Was it a C4? I don't know.
No, can you repeat the question? You went mute for a second.
I lost your audio.
Yeah.
Oh no, I was saying that that the one topic that we wanted to talk with you about, and not so much get out of the way, but to discuss with you first, and mostly rest it for the rest of the show. But if anyone knows only one thing about this week, is they saw a picture of a flaming or post-flame Corvette Husk.
Corvette Flambe.
Yeah.
It was a full husk.
What went down with that situation?
It was an unfortunate series of events. Lemony Snicket would be proud. He caught fire about midway through a run. I think his exhaust had just come out and lit his fiberglass bumper on fire. It was containable when he stopped. 10 or 15 guys ran out with our little 5-pound extinguishers, and it was almost under control. There was an unfortunate happening that there were no big fire extinguishers anywhere at the facility. and that was that. Because we had it contained, we just needed literally one big fire extinguisher, and we could have put it out. His car would have still been damaged, but it wouldn't have been a complete loss like it was.
Yeah.
And it was just, there was no fire extinguishers basically anywhere at that track. And that's, I mean, that's the bottom line of it. It's unfortunate in every way, shape, and form, and for both parties, for the track and for, it was just a bad scene.
What has there been fallout from this situation?
There has been a ton of fallout, and I'm trying to stay out of it as much as I can, unless there's completely wrong information, like the track being sued and all this stuff. It's not. So lay that one to rest. Otherwise, it's racing. What happens? He understands that. There's controversy with the GoFundMe, and the GoFundMe is really because there was no way to put his car out. I don't think I've been to a racetrack where there aren't fire extinguishers somewhere in the infield or somewhere on a truck that's nearby, and there was just none. So I think that's more of the reason why we did as much as we could. He had a fire extinguisher in the car with him, which he used right away, but it wasn't big enough to put the flames out. So that's why that GoFundMe actually exists, is because there was literally nothing that we could do. Yeah,
and he had to get home, right?
Yeah, and he had to get home. He was stuck with a trailer in LA, and he needed to get back to Idaho. So
Yeah. What other than the very clear moral of I guess check and make sure your track has fire safety equipment, but like what is the, I guess like everyone that I know, and myself included, like gets the tiny little extinguisher bottles that go into your seat, and it's like, is that effective in situations? Some like tiny fires, I guess.
But, yeah, it's good. It's good if you can catch it quick enough. It's unfortunate that Corvettes are 90% fiberglass. Metal wouldn't catch on fire as quickly.
Yeah.
If at all. So there's that. It's just, like I said, it was an unfortunate series of events that just spiraled out of control really quickly.
But no physical harm to driver.
No. He got some basically got a light sunburn from trying to actually get under there, because it started on his bumper and he was trying to put it out with his extinguisher, and his hairs are gone and he had his arms burned. But nobody got seriously injured, and that's all we can ask for. I mean, to me, as an event organizer, I think that I'm glad that this happened with our group of people. I mean, imagine somebody that hasn't kind of maybe been through this before, or hasn't competed, and got stuck in their car and died on the track because they couldn't get out. I mean, there was a lot of things that could have happened had this not been our group of people too. So
yeah, it's good.
Yeah,
it could be a blessing in disguise for the track. Maybe they'll up their safety a little bit, put at least a few fire extinguishers somewhere on the track, on the poles near the announcing tower, and I think that'll do them a lot of good. I mean, just in case, prevent this from happening in the future.
That seems kind of like standard procedure. I'm not an event organizer, nor do I handle fire safety in any regards, but I kind of feel like that's common.
It is, and for me, I've been running events for 12 years now, and we have always had let everybody know where the fire extinguishers are on the track. We have them on every big light pole. There's 2 20-pound fire extinguishers on every light pole at our track. Plus, we have a fire safety team and an EMT standing by. So they will come out and give additional support. So your little 10-pounder or your 5-pound bottle that you have is basically buying you time for the track personnel and extinguishers to get to you. That little one's not meant to put anything out, really. It's meant to buy you time, just like a fire suit. It's not meant to let you sit in the car while it's on fire. It's a buffer. You have 5 seconds to get out of the car before somebody else can get there. So,
yeah.
Was there EMT track safety at most of, or hopefully all of these events?
There was at ours. There was. I didn't make it to Harris Hill, so I don't know. There was at Musselman. There was at Indy. So yeah, basically every track that we went to, there was some form of EMT or fire
track safety
or extinguishers on the track. Yes.
Yeah. Well,
Well,
Shit.
very
How fast did it go from driver stopping the car to full total loss? Like, what was the time frame here? As you say, like everyone was reacting really fast. And
2
I-
minutes.
I'm just curious how.
I was I put the whole thing on my Instagram story, and I would say once we knew it was a total loss and everybody backed up, we had about 50 seconds in between from when it was a light fire to when it was a fire that was out of control.
Yeah.
And most
That
of
shit
that was
happens
negated
fast.
by the guys with the small. Literally everyone ran over and tried to put the fire out with little tiny 5-pound extinguishers, and it was almost out. It was so close, and then it was
That's
over.
it.
Well, that's some shit. Sounds like
Yeah.
I'm glad it happened to you guys. I guess.
That's what I'm
It's-
saying.
it's-
It's
yeah.
looking at it positively. Had it been other people, it could have been really, really, really bad.
Yeah. Well, to end our combo with you on a high note, other than your favorite part being alive still, but what else did you get from this experience?
I came from BMX, so one of my favorite BMX videos, and everybody should go check this out, is called Road Fools. It was a knockoff BMX video of Road Rules, but with BMX dudes. And I probably watched that video 100 times back in the day when it came out in like '98. And it was huge inspiration. So when this got talked about, I don't know, 3 or 4 months ago with Aaron, he was like, "Oh yeah, we're trying to do this thing," and I was like, "Yes,
Yeah.
sign me up. I don't even care. Sign me up."
Yeah.
And that was what really drew me in. And then it was just like that. It was the camaraderie. It was everything that happened in between the tracks. It was barbecues. It was beer pong. It was and getting to drive with some of the people that I haven't got to drive with in 5 years. And it was everything that I really hoped it would be, with literally the best group of people to do it with.
Yeah. I didn't think about that aspect. That yeah, it really is about the closest thing you can do in a drift car to like the skate tours, or in this case like BMX tours. It's like, yeah, just essentially a
Yes.
bunch of dudes hopping in a van and touring the country, kind of
Albeit
Not-
a lot more expensive and more time consuming and
I mean,
frustrating.
yeah, with skating and BMX, it's like, yeah, you get in a van, maybe a tiny trailer, and cruise around and sleep on couches and shit like that. But it's like, yeah, I guess
Yeah.
now we up that expense a little bit, just as drifting is a little bit more expensive than those two hobbies, but still probably one of the cheapest forms of racing out there.
No, absolutely. And I don't think other racers would want to do this. So I think
Oh,
we're
no.
kind of a unique breed to where this is something we would not go, "You're a complete moron for even thinking of that."
Yeah. I mean, there's got to be fancy boy versions of this, like Gumball, I guess, in some extent is
Yeah,
kind
they
of like this.
really
but
are.
what are you doing there, Paco? Paco's got a flyer.
It's just an old flyer from Mayhan, but it's like Dan's photo, so it's just little
He's
memory
good.
lane thing. But no, anyways, Dan.
But yeah, no, that's what I got. I'm super happy to have been invited on the trip. I know there's talk of a second one. Aaron was like, "Yeah, let's do it in 6 months," and I'm like, "You guys are freaking nuts.
Yeah. You need more recovery.
What's wrong with you?" Yeah, it's more recovery financially. The wallet took a hit on this one, man. It was, like I said, it was intense.
Yeah. Do you at liberty to say what 7 days of drifting and being on the road costs, or I don't know, just out of curiosity for someone that wants to attempt this with their buddies?
I am north. Well, including now having a tow and flying my compatriot in from Japan and all of the Airbnbs and hotels and food and parts, and anyway, I think I'm northwards of $5,000.
Oh, that's nothing. That's pocket change to us
Pocket
drift
change.
boys. No, that's the money. That's
We
a lot
enjoy
of
the
money.
big drift money.
Yeah, big drift money. If you're making a
Yeah.
shit ton as a big internet drift boy, no doubt.
So Red Bull, if you're listening, let's do this next year.
Let's do it.
Nicer hotels.
Yeah, I love the concept. Hopefully, it grows to a bigger, better, awesomer, more awesomer is the correct grammar. thing?
Awesomest.
Awesomer. Yeah.
Paco, any closing remarks for our good friend Danny Boy here?
Just obviously, glad to talk to you again. Glad that you're
I know
still.
it's been a while.
Yeah,
Really,
glad-
since
It's been a
you
while.
guys first started doing this, basically.
Yeah, it has.
You were one of
And
our.
now look at
You've
us.
grown.
Yeah.
You've grown so much since then.
Oh,
Have we?
you
Have we
too.
really?
You too.
You really have. Look how
Oh.
pro this is. I mean, we're talking from different parts. Well, two different parts of your own state plus California.
I'll be goddamned. The modern age we live in,
Technology.
and look how we use it.
Yeah.
Dick and fart
Talk
jokes.
about wasting tires. And that works for me,
Yeah.
man. I'm
Hey.
into that.
That's showbiz, baby.
Yep.
Amen to that.
Well, thank you for your time and kicking us off here, Dan. We'll definitely have to do a full episode with you soon.
I'd love to, man. I'm totally in. I miss you guys.
I miss you too.
Come back to Arizona anytime, you know. You have your home here.
All right, Dan.
Thanks,
thank
guys.
you. See you
All
next
right.
Tuesday, bud.
Enjoy the talking with the rest of the dudes. Don't lose your voices.
We'll see.
All right. Can't promise much.
Peace.
Take care, buddy.
Later,
Later,
man.
man.
Dan Brockett, ladies and gentlemen.
Dan,
Dude.
the sock puppet.
The
Brock-
sock
no,
puppet
that's not gonna
Brock.
work. Dan, the bike Sprocket. I mean, Sprocket almost works because he mentioned BMX stuff. So I guess
Yeah.
Dan the Sprocket. 'cause
Dan-
that's a
Daniel
part on a
Sprocket.
bicycle for those that are not bike savvy. Dan is still here. and
He's still
looks like
here. He's
trying
cheating.
To figure out how to turn off his
He doesn't
phone.
know how to hang up.
Can't do it.
Dan, you're bringing the phone closer to your face, and then
Yeah.
is this what it feels like to be strangled by you? Is this the last thing that we see?
It could be. It very well could be.
Dan, we gotta go. So
All
we
right,
can
Brian,
talk
get rid of this
to the
creeper.
drivers.
All
Dump
right,
him.
I'm out.
Bye,
All
Dan.
right, there you go. All right.
Oh my God, I saw
That-
inside of his nose. In a good way. I mean, that's my favorite way to get to know someone is to
Yeah.
look what they got in that nose.
Dude, it was like I was saying, I was glad to hear from Dan. He's like one of our first in studio guests.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember how long it has been.
Yeah, it's been a while. It's been a
It's been a
while.
Thank you.
And yeah, you're welcome. And
And I'm sure everyone wants juicier info on the fire, but it sounds like there's not a lot to
Yeah.
be said. To be honest, it was run down there by Danny Boy, but we got
okay,
looks
so
like two more boys here.
let's see. I can only see one. Hey guys, get closer. There you go.
gotta
Oh, there
be
it
on top
is.
of each other. Hey,
Hey, I know that redhead.
one with a beautiful green screen hat. Oh no, he turned it around. Who might we have the carnal pleasure to speak with here?
You
Guys?
see us?
Right.
Yeah, we see you. Can you see
Alright.
us? Can you hear us?
Yeah, I see you just fine.
Oh, wonderful. How was your day?
Better. Not bad. Back to work.
Gross.
Who are these? Who are these
this?
individuals?
Who are this? In
This
Paco's
is-
native language, who are this?
So Dan imported a Japanese. I imported a Portuguese.
Ooh,
This is Joe.
Hi guys.
Joe. Yo.
Yo yo.
And
Dude,
who are you, Ginger Boy?
I am Brandon Wicknick.
what?
Yes.
In the his.
Yes.
Paco, Brandon, have we spoken to Brandon on the show?
No, I've been
Welcome.
trying to get him on the show for a while. I wanted to get him with like with Drift Club because they were doing like very cool drift things, team tandems and stuff. And but it was kind of like I haven't heard from them in a while. And then like, it turns out these boys are doing Drift Week, and Brandon actually stopped through Phoenix. Was it like a week ago? Had a
Yeah,
chance to
about a week.
reconnect and talk and kick the shit. And
Kick the shit.
kick the shit.
And all he had to do was drift at 7 tracks in 14-ish days. And,
Yeah, that's all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Funny.
So,
Just easy.
Funny thing,
just-
Sam. Joe, he's one of the winners.
Joe.
Joe, he's one of the
Joe.
winners of the swag packs that we gave away a couple weeks ago.
fuck off.
So it was like a perfect thing because he just stopped by Phoenix, grabbed his swag pack, and off he goes to Portugal.
Hell yeah.
Obrigado.
Can you see? Somewhere
that.
here.
Oh
Somewhere here. Look.
no.
There it is. How many t-shirts are you wearing?
Dude, it's like snow. It was almost
It's cold here.
These
like
boys are in
cold.
Utah.
like cold.
Oh, they're in Utah. Okay.
Yeah. We got hit with a snowstorm last night.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Made it just in the Nicholas of time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thankfully, being Utah-based, you weren't too far out of your own territory for this entire expedition, were you?
Not terribly. I tracked our
Yeah.
mileage and we did just shy of 5,000 miles total.
Damn, that's insane. And what?
So-
what vessel were you guys in?
I had an IS300 with a stock 1JZ, big turbo, standalone, but unopened block, basic, and it did great. It was an amazing engine. Toyota reliability.
That's awesome. Did you have interior? Did you have AC? Not that you need it this time of year necessarily, but it is Texas.
Full interior, a very nice, comfortable street car. I didn't put AC because I knew it wouldn't be too hot. Otherwise, we would have. Everything was there to do it, but
The pump was there.
Yeah. See, like I wanted to give Brandon props because I think he had the right card you need to use for this kind of event. A couple weeks ago, Brian and I were talking about I thought the Drift Week idea itself, it was kind of bad because I thought it's like,
Wow.
oh well, yeah, because I thought it was
What's your
like,
better idea,
Wow.
Paco?
well, hold
Bad.
on, yeah, here it comes. I thought it was bad because I thought it was like, oh, you grab your drift car and you go drive through through the country. And my idea of a drift car is, like full gutted interiors, dog box, like, like just uncomfortable ride, And then I started watching and I see like, oh, okay, Matt Field has a Corvette. Brandon Wicknick has a Lexus. He's rolling in style. He even had like passengers. Like you have like 3 people in your car.
My car would have been so fucked. Like, I wouldn't have made it. I wouldn't have completed the first track nor have left that track.
Yeah.
And that's just,
So that kind of changed my mentality about the whole concept from Drift Week, because I was like, well, what are they doing it this way? Like, what's the point of this uncomfortable ride?
What's the point of anything, Paco, when
Right?
you think about it?
So let's see if these boys can tell us, like, so why doing Drift Week?
Why doing Drift Week, boys?
Why not?
I thought it was a
Yeah,
great
that's the
idea.
answer.
When Aaron first called me and he explained the idea, he called and said, "Hey, do you think this is a good idea?" And I said, "Aaron, are you inviting me or are you just asking my opinion? Because I definitely want to go."
Yeah. I
And
mean,
then what he
I
said,
think
which other people
it's a
told
bad
me
idea,
later,
but
Aaron basically said, "Okay, if you want to go, you have to think about it and call me back." And I said, "I don't need to call you back. I already know that this is what I want to do. This is a really good idea." I mean, if you guys followed me in Formula D, I had nothing but trouble in Formula D. My truck broke every time I drove it. Kind of like Dan. Me and Dan were like holding hands the whole time in everything. We had
Struggle
the
brothers.
same problems.
The Struggle brothers, yeah.
So like, I was like, there's nothing I can't handle in a trip like this, especially without a truck. It's an easy. I can fix the car, take some tools. It was like right up my alley, and I love struggling. I love working on cars, and it was like no problem to get it done. So I was like, let's do it, and let's take a reliable car while we're at it. In some ways, I wish I would have taken something more like Dustin, like a dog box S13 or something more ridiculous, more difficult, less comfortable. But to be honest, like, I'm 36 years old. We were riding in comfort, and it was not that hard for us.
Old enough to party.
You are a tall guy and you managed to sleep on the back seat.
Yeah, I was sleeping in the back seat. We were rotating drivers. Like, we had it figured out. It was pretty
Oh man, yeah, it sounds pretty solid for you guys. Who had the rawest car, the worst driver?
I mean, Dan's car was pretty rough on his first.
The
leg
Z?
when he his Z, like no interior, really loud. You couldn't even talk to
With
June.
earphones.
Dude,
But,
Yeah.
but
if
also
you-
Dustin Miles. Dustin Miles took a dog box S13. That's pretty wild.
So he was just hearing those gears on the freeway all day.
Yeah. Oh, I can't imagine
Dan forgot to mention on his 350Z, he and June were wearing masks, like oxygen
Oh, yeah.
masks, because he had like a bad CO2 leak, and he had like CO2
Good.
sensors
Good.
in the car just in case like the levels were high. And fortunately, it wasn't the CO2. It just like flipped the trailer instead.
Yeah,
But-
I guess that's good
but
news.
Dan
Dude,
is
I
good
get
at roughing it out.
asphyxiated- I get asphyxiated on the daily just from my uncatted Subaru. Like I have to leave my windows up at stoplights because like just having my windows down at a stoplight makes me lightheaded. So I can only imagine doing that across the country in a raw, wide open, stinky ass drift car. See, the trick is what you do is you get a Paco and then you have him flat tow your drift car in his Pontiac Aztek.
Aztec.
Yeah, everywhere. And that's the pro move, guys.
No,
That's
no,
where it's
no.
at.
No, we were tough guys, so we drove all the way to Texas and all the way here
Yeah.
with some minor issues on the
Go.
you know.
Yeah, what issues did you have? What were the?
So I had the foresight to take an electric power steering pump because last year I had so many problems with my power steering. I thought I went through a pump like every event, and we didn't exactly have the problem figured out. So I said, you know what? I'm just going to bring an electric power steering pump in case we have to use it. And of course, we had to use it. And we actually figured it out, had it installed in 30 minutes. And we figured out electric power steering on the road, and that made a world of difference.
Yeah.
We lost a fuel pump. Fielding Shredder lost like 3 pumps that same day, and I was joking like, hey, I got a spare pump for you, and then we lost a pump on that same drive, so we had to change
cool.
that out.
In
But it
tank
was-
pump or out of tank?
It was out of tank. Luckily, it was after the surge
that's
tank.
funny.
Yeah,
I've had some bad times
Yeah.
changing in tank pumps while
Yeah.
at a hot track because I really wanted to keep drifting. So
exactly.
I stuck my bare hand inside hot fuel,
Oh,
which
my
apparently
gosh.
causes something called a chemical burn, which I wasn't aware of at the time.
How was that?
It was not cool.
Well, we end up taking the all the fuel assembly anyway.
We did. We had to transfer fuel from one side of the saddle tank to the other with another fuel pump. It was a wild experience, but no chemical burns for us.
Nope.
What was
Fuel loss.
the worst, minus a complete loss of a car? What was the
Right.
worst mechanical that anyone had?
Anyone?
Luke blew an engine before.
Yeah.
Dan blew an engine on the sighting lap.
Axel blew an engine.
Axel blew an engine.
Corvette.
His Corvette.
Did they just drop out when they blew engines, or did they? keep
No,
going?
they were able to keep up. Axel had his car towed to California and then had an engine installed by the time we got to Hoonigan. So he
Oh.
finished it up that way.
Nice.
I think Luke broke a diff and was able to fix it the same day. Most people were pretty handy in getting stuff figured out, which was impressive. Aaron completely thought like people would be dropping out and nobody would finish the run or finish the whole trip. But surprisingly, almost everyone did.
Funnily enough, he was the one not
Yeah.
starting or finishing.
Yeah, Aaron had some problems with his car too. He had to bring in a second car.
Yeah. Wait, is that part of the rules?
He was
You're allowed
making up
to-
the rules as he goes.
Yeah.
But there was a lot of people he disqualified, even though they were still participating. You know, like Dan Dan was disqualified because he towed
Axel.
Axel. But we were just hanging out. You know, that was the best part about it. Is
Yeah,
everyone was
it
just
sounds.
driving together. It reminded me of drifting like skateboarding boys. You go to like a
Yeah.
drift park, like a drift park, like a skate park,
Yeah.
and you just take whatever line you want. And you drive with whoever you want, and there's no competition. There's no rules. It's just kind of drifting for the sake of drifting.
Yeah.
But Dan mentioned, but didn't really say how they were given out because he said he didn't know necessarily. But how were points given? Because there was a winner, and
There
there were
was.
points.
There was. Yeah, we can't say who the winner was.
But wait,
But it was interesting the way Aaron did points. There were some challenges. One of the difficulties was like, okay, now it's time to do the challenge, and someone's like, I don't have tires, my car's broken, and so sometimes some people miss out on challenges for that reason, or Aaron would like try and put it off to try and accommodate people, then someone else would be broken at that time. So I missed a few challenges from what we had. I know other guys did too, and so the points were kind of confusing. But Aaron did tabulate it at the end. One of them was to film yourself street drifting. One of them
Wow.
was
Legally, you bought permits and shut down the road. Clearly,
Of course.
Yeah.
we would not condone anything otherwise.
Yeah.
Yes.
There was a drag race. There was like a Aaron. What did Luke call it?
go to Woe.
Go to whoa, a stoppy starty. Basically, a drag race and then stop without blowing off the track.
Okay.
Jeez.
We can't say. You guys got to watch the episode, but it was pretty interesting. That one was fun.
Yeah. Are you guys on like any sort of information embargo, or is it just you guys want to get out your own content so
Well,
people
I
can
mean,
see it that way?
Everyone was vlogging, right? It was.
Right.
It was. I've never seen so many guys filming themselves at one place at one time all together.
Look like
Yeah.
paparazzis, like cameras all over the place.
Yeah.
It's like,
So there was a lot of vlog stuff, but Aaron said, please don't spoil certain things. And so you obviously
Gotcha.
want to leave something so people watch the 7-episode series at the end.
When does everyone have to? Oh, they're doing their own internal video, and then you guys were able to vlog your own shit.
Right,
Essentially?
right. So
Cool.
I imagine, knowing how much footage we gave them, I gave them 500 gigs of my own footage.
Yeah.
So I can only imagine how long it's going to take to edit 12 people's footage, you know?
Gotcha.
Sai said they are behind on Japan trip for like 3 months. So by August we have the series.
Yeah.
done.
It releases on Netflix next year.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, that would be cool.
Yeah.
How did you have 500 gigs? That seems a lot, even if you're running a GoPro. I guess one GoPro running pretty much nonstop would be about that much for a couple weeks. But
yeah. I mean, everyone told me I'm not a YouTuber. This is my first time doing this. Everyone said I film way too much stuff, which made it
Yeah.
hard to edit. So we had a GoPro going. We had the vlog camera. There were 2 GoPros, and then his stuff, and there was a lot.
yeah, I bet. Yeah, 500 gigs
Combine
times-
all together in the mega ultron of footage, and wasn't easy.
Yeah, I can. Well, I mean, it wasn't easy for you guys. I can only imagine the editor going through it.
Yeah, I feel
pity
bad
his
for
soul.
him. Yes.
Yeah.
The editor, you mean us?
Yeah, we were each doing our own thing, and I'm 10 days behind on videos still. I'll be putting stuff out
Yeah.
till next year.
Well, I mean, that's your own internal edit. I'm talking about the editor that has to
Right,
go
right,
through
of
every
course.
single
Everybody's
camera from the
I
entire
can only
trip.
imagine. Yep.
Yeah. But I mean,
Poor
it's
Sai.
you can get into a groove and you
Yeah.
can power through it. And plus, he's probably not going to watch most of it. So
Right.
he's gonna look for moments and then submit a draft, and then someone's gonna be like, "What about that time that I did this?" He'll be like, "Oh yeah, I saw that. I'll go
Yeah.
get that." And then he'll like go and
Yeah.
search for hours to find a moment.
That happened to someone, huh?
Yep.
You publish a video like, I didn't saw this.
Yep. Forgot footage.
Yeah, that happens.
Hey,
That's why I'm
Brandon,
waiting for mine.
What?
what do you guys think was your favorite moment that will cherish the most out of Drift Week?
Aw, that's a
Oh.
nice
So-
way to put it.
I mean, for the most part, all of us stayed in the Airbnbs together, which was awesome because at night everyone was kind of editing videos and talking to each other, and then we would do certain things as a group. And
What
just
about fighting over rooms? Hold on, this is
oh my gosh, we don't want
This
to
is
talk
giving
about that.
me no. I do because I deal with it all the time. I'm traveling with my race service crew on the road all the time, and seniority is very confusing, of course, because it's
Yes.
like there's the actual seniority within the business, but then there's seniority on I'm the director on this job and I deserve a good room because I'm working the hardest. And there's well, hold on, I'm the cameraman that's holding the camera the most. I deserve the best room, and it's like it's a constant point of conflict. So how was that done?
I haven't really told anyone this, but it was Luke's wife, Tiana Fink, who was figuring out the Airbnb. She kind of took charge, and luckily she did a really good job. But I got in on the ground floor. I was like, look, I messaged her. I said, please include us. Because that was when there was like maybe 4 of us that wanted to do Airbnbs. And I said, please include us. So I feel like we kind of got priority because I told her, make sure, please take care of us because we want to be in on it. So because I said, as soon as she books an Airbnb, everyone's going to say, I want in. And there's, how do you facilitate 30 people or 20 people at an Airbnb? It's going to be, someone's going to be uncomfortable. And I didn't want that to be me. So she took good care of us. I mean, we all split it, and some people who were floor dwellers paid less and whatever, but there was definitely struggles. You'd get there and everyone's like, I want this room, I want that room, and exactly like you explained, but
there's
as far
always
as
in like every
seniority and those
bedroom-
dynamics, it was
Yeah. Every 5-bedroom
I think we were
Airbnb,
okay.
there's a master, there's like 2 acceptable rooms, and just 1 or 2 fucking trash rooms. It's like the kids' room. It's like a tiny half-twin baby bed, and it's the worst. And like someone gets screwed with that every time, and it's inevitable.
So since Luke had his family, obviously they got the master bedroom, which worked out fine. That was
So that's
fine.
good. Well, at least you got that out of the
Luke,
way.
wife,
That's
and kids.
Right.
that's
And
the
then
biggest
other rooms-
struggle.
There,
is who
there
gets
was
that.
in our last one in California, there was a room with 4 bunk beds. It was like a Disney theme, with
Ooh.
stuff on
Oh.
the walls.
Boats and jungle.
Who was in there? Adam was in there on the bottom bunk, and then there was Mesker, and then
Ace editor.
the guy that was with Adam. It was interesting. It was pretty funny how that all
Yeah.
worked out. But
We end up on the game room.
yeah, we were sleeping underneath the pool table, and everyone wanted to hang out
That's
there
a
editing
good spot.
videos.
Nice.
That
Well,
was a
yeah,
good spot.
but it became the room everyone wanted to
The
hang out
editing
in.
room,
And we're like,
actually.
hey guys, can we sleep? And they're like, oh, hold on, everyone's chilling out, no problem. And it was
Nope.
yeah.
Well, you got to sleep on top of the pool table, which I've done a couple times too.
That's where all the editing was happening.
yeah,
Everyone
that's
literally
the
had their
power move,
laptops.
though.
Yeah,
You-
that's the
you
power
just-
move.
Yeah, you
Get
lay
off.
up
This
there.
is my bed.
Yeah, exactly.
And you know what the worst was? It was the only room in the house the door didn't lock.
Yeah,
Oh.
couldn't keep anyone out.
So we couldn't keep them out. It's like, it's just
Well, the trick is to
people
not
wet.
to emotionally make them not want to come in. So you just got to be such a monster or do something so awful that people will not want to enter that room.
Next time I'm gonna call you for tips, Sam. How to
Yeah,
keep people out.
I'm full of dwelling advice. That's actually a new podcast we're starting. So,
Dwelling
Do all the
advice.
I'm pretty sure if you let it loose, just letting out.
Yeah.
yeah,
the
so
people
you
would
could
like, ooh.
yeah, I'm sure already this house full of 20 dudes was probably a smell to behold, but
Yes.
you could also do some bonus things to start stinking up that room, and that would help, depart as well.
Yeah.
No, everybody
Some
was the
thoughts.
same, so nobody got grossed out. So
Yeah, but I mean, I guess if you're all stinking in drift cars the entire weeks, then everyone stinks. So it's whatever.
one thing we definitely used was a hot tub.
Yeah, there was
Oh,
a hot
yeah.
tub there, and everyone was in there every night. We had to text the landlord to turn on the heater for the hot tub.
Oh,
It
Yeah.
was pretty funny.
Oh, I love
Someone,
that.
I'm not gonna mention names, was editing on the hot tub. Like
Yeah, that's
inside
the
the hot
best
tub.
Several
Computer.
of us were doing it.
Mm.
It was the best.
Yeah, that's safe.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a laptop. It's low voltage.
Yeah.
Like it's
Since
not
we're
about the
doing it-
safety of the person. It's the safety of the laptop at this point.
Since we're doing
Yeah, sure.
Airbnb talk here, fucking hate when they're like, we have a hot tub and you show up and it's cold because that shit
Yeah.
takes like 48 hours to get totally hot.
Right?
The pool was
Right.
cold.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
That's
heated
what swimming
pool,
pool is
that's whatever. You know, it doesn't always. It's pretty rare, but still, hot tub. If you have a hot tub, it better fucking be 140 degrees.
No, at one point it was unbearable. Like it was really hot at one point.
Yeah, we could have boiled.
That's how it's supposed to be. You got to be unbearable. Like if you can sit in it for longer than 15 minutes, you're fucking up.
No, but LA already, like the area we were already was pretty warm by itself.
Yeah.
You know, wasn't Utah where it's like -7 degrees Celsius.
Yeah.
You know?
It was definitely the hangout spot.
Yeah. Before we let you guys go into the night, what I guess you already kind of said some favorite, but like what was the most memorable? What do you take away from this experience the most?
Just the camaraderie. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I guess I'm a little bit older, and my focus has changed on what I enjoy in life, and just being around all those dudes and being able to drive with high level drivers.
Yeah.
It's something I don't get to do very often, you know. And then just the idea of driving your drift car from track to track. It was like a mind-blowingly awesome experience, you know. Something
not
I've
what was
never done.
intended.
Yeah.
It's not how. That's not how this sport was created. I guess.
No.
No, that's not
No.
true. That's not true because it was created on the roads. But it's like once we went to the tracks, it's like the evolution of stuff. It's like I guess some things left the ocean and went back in the ocean. All right, whatever. Bad analogies.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
But you guys asked Dan about financially. I think we were about the same. We were about maybe
Yeah.
35 to 4,500 with
not
tires and
that
everything. And
Yeah. I mean, it sounds
all that.
extreme. Not that this was a relaxing vacation for anyone, but for a drift diehard, that's awesome. But like, think about a 2-week vacation. Most places, it's
Right.
about $3 to $5 grand, right? Like, if you're gonna
Yeah.
do it not on a tight budget, like I backpacked through Europe for 6 weeks on $5 grand, but that was
Yeah.
also as a 21-year-old and we slept in $15 hostels every night. But it's like $5 grand as an adult in your 30s for a 2-week vacation sounds fairly reasonable.
Yeah.
right.
Well, mine was the first time in US, so.
Oh, really?
Yeah, sure.
We got
Hold
to show
on,
him
this is-
around and all
Yeah,
the
this is another
experiences.
good topic. What's your impression of us up here? Your first time in the US.
I can say it wasn't. I go home definitely with a good impression.
Good.
Nothing went wrong so far. I still have another day. I'm gonna
Yeah.
be in LA tomorrow. Hopefully.
Oh
okay.
yes.
Oh yeah. So I don't know. But my impression so far is positive. Apart from the food,
We had a lot of Mexican food, everyday Mexican food, and he got tired of that.
I was a bit sorry, Paco.
Yeah.
But when you're not used to it and you get it like 24/7,
Dude,
you know.
your asshole,
Yeah.
your asshole tells you stop, please.
At one point it did. It wasn't fun.
Yeah. Nothing like
It was
that
like,
on a road trip.
Can I have a pizza instead? Maybe.
What was
I don't know.
what was the weirdest most American thing you saw that was very strange to see?
Bucky's.
Ooh, no, Walmart.
Walmart. Yeah. They haven't invaded your place yet?
No, we are safe.
For now.
It seemed
Del
like you
Taco-
love them,
Del Taco
though.
is inviting, no?
Every time I saw you posting about Walmart, you were like, "Oh my God, I'm in heaven."
No,
Don't
wait,
endorse
wait,
it, man.
You need to understand one thing. How easy it is for you guys to get stuff is
I know.
mind-boggling. You know, like
It
you
is
don't
crazy.
even treasure what you get. 'Cause if you want something, you need to overnight it from any other country or wait 2 weeks to a month to get from here to Europe, and then you pay
Mhm.
taxes and all the horrible stuff.
Yeah.
So it's not cool.
We are
so-
definitely a country of convenience.
We've got it good.
Yeah, because like you can go Arbor Freight and get like massive toolboxes. Just just gonna go there and grab it.
Yeah.
Or you can go Walmart or all those places I really wanted to see because I always hear about.
Mhm.
So it was like Chick-fil-A. What was the
Yeah.
other one I wanted? Chipotle. All those places, O'Reilly's. I'm not gonna
Mhm.
name brands because
Sure,
they don't
sure.
pay for that. But those places.
Yeah, of course. Well, let's say it's like 2 a.m. and you want a boogie board. You're like, fuck, I'll go get a boogie board. I'll go like, you can do that in America, which is a
Yeah.
weird thing because you just go to
Right.
Walmart
Oh,
and you
I'm
buy your
pretty sure-
boogie board.
I'm
That's
pretty sure I could Uber eat whatever I want.
yeah.
That's
That's-
literally how I live.
That's
Yeah, you
freedom
can
for
just
you. That's
feed
freedom
her
for you,
and-
buddy.
Search for something.
Whoa. Did you get a couple good swipes in there?
No, I was off that game. Like
Ah.
drift take all my time.
Oh, that's so fun.
Sorry.
All right, guys. Well, thank you so
I'll
much
take
for
it
spending
anyways,
time with
that's
us.
Thanks for
We
having us on the
appreciate
show.
we appreciate it, and we'll have to talk to you guys at length sometime in the future.
Okay.
Whenever you
wanna-
guys want to go to Portugal, just hit me up. It's fine.
I do
I'll
want
let
to.
you
I'm
back.
going to be actually in Spain for 3 out of the next 4-ish weeks. I know it's not Portugal, but it's close.
Yeah, it's so close, like from here to Nevada.
That's
you go.
close. America's really big, and that's pretty close. You're right
I
next
know,
to Nevada.
dude. Like this trip was 8,000 kilometers. I could get from Portugal to Russia.
Yeah, that's
It's wild. It's wild.
Yeah.
And for me, it's like, it's just another trip around the country, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
Almost
Welcome
So-
to America.
Yeah.
America. So whenever, I mean, if you want to travel a couple of hours and go to sunny Portugal, just let me know.
I'm working, man.
Perfect.
Thanks,
Well,
guys. Thanks for having us.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you guys.
Hopefully, we'll
Later.
get a chance to talk to you more about drifting next time, Brandon.
Yes. Sounds good.
All right. Good to see you guys.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye. Yeah, dude, it's these guys. I mean, you know, like it's just cool, like seeing them because I've been following almost everybody who's been blogging from Drift Week, and everybody's just like having fun and Chelsea, you know, like just getting.
Everyone heard you just say the next guest, Paco. It's not going to be a secret.
It's not supposed to.
You have a form of communication over there. Dan was just saying how professional we seemed, and now you got to yell out the name of the next guest.
I tried to like
damn it.
muffle it a little bit.
No, it didn't work. You did
Sorry.
a terrible job.
It's okay.
That's
We're
that's
talking to Schmelzy now.
Thank you.
So
No, they seem to have fun and have a good time, but when
Yeah.
I saw them, I think most, if not all, came to the RS party we had that
Yeah.
night. They all looked fucking tired.
yeah, I can imagine.
It was the second to last day.
Yo.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. We're talking about good things, and then suddenly you hear like a yo.
Is it not scary enough?
I think it was more of
Look
like
at
a yeah.
Sam looks terrified.
It was more of like a yeah.
Bro.
Bro.
We don't have any video on you.
Turn on your
People-
camera, bro.
Turn on my camera.
I honestly didn't know who this
How do I
was at
do
first
that?
because do you have like a nasal filter on the phone? Because this is the least nasally I've ever heard your voice.
Oh no, it's that time of year where I can speak clearly.
Yeah, are you back home? Can you actually breathe? Are you somewhere?
I can. I get like 3 or 4 months out of every year where I can even understand myself.
That's not good though because you're about the only person on earth who has a more nasally sounding voice than I do, and right now I don't think that's the case, and that kind of bums me out.
Well, life goes on, you know.
Yeah, so it goes. Turn on your fucking camera, nasal boy. What's up?
How do I do that? Oh, the middle button right
There's
here.
probably a
I'm-
button
I'm
with a
a
camera.
God damn it.
There you go.
Hey, there he is.
What's up?
What's up? Hey, nice.
Oh.
nice,
Just turn the
that's
phone-
other way.
Turn it sideways. There you. Oh my god, dude, you have
This
such
way?
you have
Did you
such
just do a
perfect
nice
hair.
flick for us?
God damn,
Oh,
it's
it's
so
beautiful.
jealous. So jealous.
We have Chelsea DeNofa here. Chelsea, are you back home? Where are you?
I am finally home.
Hey, look at you. Congratulations. You survived Drift Week. We
Did
just
you
spoke
survive
to-
the Drift Week? It's a question.
Yeah. I mean,
I
I
did
guess
survive. I'm here.
physically. Yes, physically you survived. We spoke with Danny. We spoke with
Wicknick.
Wick and his co-driver. How was your Drift Week experience?
It was rad. I actually had a really good time. It was about 10 times better than I thought it was going to be.
You thought
I
it was
don't-
going to be shitty.
No, I had good expectations, but I guess I saw it as we're going to go drive 6 events or 7 events, and like I had to fly out in the middle of it to do a demo, which was 3 more days of driving. And
Oh.
then some other things, and I saw it as like, this is going to be a lot of driving, you know, and like I didn't bring a crew guy or anything, so it was like going to do it all on my own kind of thing. Chelsea came to help me drive and do some other things, but so my expectations were kind of like, it'll work. It's going to be fun. I'm going to enjoy it. Some cool people, but it ended up being such a rad experience overall, like just traveling the country with a bunch of people that wanted to do exactly the same thing. And that, I almost feel like that doesn't even happen in FD because people are so busy prepping their cars and doing all that and like worrying
Yeah.
about all these competitive things. So it ended up being a really awesome overall trip with like, that was insanely enjoyable.
Well, now that you're a big corporate drift car driver, you got to rough it for once in your life.
Oh,
you got to see,
yeah.
you got to see how the real men do it down in the trenches.
Oh, dude, I rough it every day, dude.
I know.
And all my
I know.
projects.
You do it just like I do. You know, we do it to ourselves, man. You know, you got a big boy job that you work all day long at Team RTR, and I got mine, and then I come home and I do a fucking podcast.
God damn.
Stupid podcast. What's even the point, Chelsea? Why are we doing this?
I was talking to Vaughn about this the other day. I'm like, I joined your team because I was so tired and burnt out of working on stuff. And as soon as I joined your team, I opened a drift school with no employees and 8 cars. I'm like, I am so dumb.
Yeah, that makes sense. That tracks.
Yeah.
How's I don't want to get you're here for Drift Week, okay? But obviously we're not going to not have you on the show to talk just a tiny bit about other stuff. But what's up with Drift School these days? It going well?
Oh yeah, it's rad. It's as busy as we want it to be. No busier, no less. It's great. I've got Travis Reeder doing some instruction and stuff with us too, so
Nice.
it's been good. And it's been busy, man. A couple days a week, packed full of people, so I
Nice.
got no
Yeah.
complaints.
Your business is heavy though. It's like I worry with any sort of drift business or like a drift podcast. It's like you kind of reach maximum market reach early. I think if you just have the ear of the community, and it's like once the general group of people I think burst into learning about it, like it's tough to get new people, but you're actually maintaining consistent bookings and keeping classes busy.
Yeah, I mean it's been. I would say I think we were doing the math on it, but our repeat customers like returns are 30%. So 30%
cool.
of people come back, which is
Yeah.
cool. But also like 90% of the people are flying in. So we got a lot of different people all the time.
That's
Like,
serious.
yeah, I mean, like I said, we probably have about 25 or 30 students a month, which doesn't sound like a ton, but like for what
That
we're
sounds
doing,
like a fucking ton, man.
does it?
Yes.
Oh,
For 1 to 2
okay.
teachers and a business that's essentially run by less people than, I would say less than 5, but you just said it's more or less you're the employee, but it sounds like you employ Travis, and I imagine you have a little bit of help with the cars?
Yeah, a little bit here and there.
Yeah.
But the key was just building a lot of cars so that they don't have to go out all at once, and just kind of rotating them in and out and keeping the cars simple on the same platform and sharing parts and all that. So it's been working really good. I mean, when I built the business model out, I did not expect it to be as good as it is now. So I got no complaints.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome.
Sam was hating on the electric Fiat. What do you think?
I don't hate it at all. I want to get one.
See?
Why do you say this, Paco? Have you already had side convos with Chelsea about electric Fiats?
I was asking him about his. So I was like wanting to get one as a dinghy to put on my trailer for when we go to events so we could drive around because it's small enough to fit.
Yeah.
I have exactly 144 inches on my trailer to fit another car, and it's 142. So I was like, this is definitely better than having a smart car.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's got air conditioning too.
I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Smart cars, they
Sam was
never work.
hating hard on it. He was saying it's the
No,
worst
I
car
mean,
in the
I
world.
would say that, like, why not get in a Barth? Like, get a cool one.
Because I just want to plug in and go.
All right.
It's like a vape, but you drive
Listen,
it.
man, what I do is not good for the environment. So every time I can get back.
No.
He helps
You're
you
already too
sleep
far
at night.
Yeah,
You're already
right.
too far gone. There's no returning.
You're right.
Anyone that listens to the show could drive a Prius until they die, or just drive a zero emissions vehicle until they die, and it's still not going to be enough.
Yeah,
We're done.
No, certainly. Certainly.
If there is a heaven and a hell, and God's priority is to determine who hurt the earth and the atmosphere the most, drifters are number one fucked. No, it's not true. There's a lot worse people out there individually being evil, unless like you're a major polluter at a corporation or something like that. Drifters are pretty high up there, I guess. I don't know. I don't know the science.
I think we're dropping the bucket.
Yeah, we are dropping the bucket for sure. But I'm just saying, Chelsea, you don't need an electric Fiat.
Okay.
I think.
Maybe another electric car soon. We'll see.
Isn't Ford coming out with one of them?
Maybe we'll see. They are.
Yes. We'll see. We'll see.
They released info on it.
GM announced the
Last week.
electric Hummer truck. So
No, they didn't. Did they really?
yeah, they did.
That sounds.
I hope not.
That sounds terrible.
Yep. Well, it's happening. So
Shitting on
7
Chevy. Let's do it.
miles per charge.
We're gonna have to bring up our shitting on Chevy segment. We have to bring it back to life.
yeah.
All right, before we get too off base here, Chelsea, you did your Drift Week thing. What car? You were in a BMW, right?
Yep, I brought the 318 Ti.
That's the chop trunk version.
Yeah, the white girl
Yeah.
Yeah.
BMWs.
But he was
Like-
but he
Some
was
people like to
cheating
call
though.
it the Civic hatchback of BMWs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I love that car. It's great. What engine in that?
It has an S54, so E46 M3 engine. Makes like about 330 wheel horsepower.
Oof.
That doesn't
It's
hurt
in
in that tiny
in that
car.
little car is a lot.
Yeah, it's pretty heavy though.
Is
It
it?
was,
Really?
How is that car heavy?
It weighed exactly as much as my FD car did on the scales.
Wow.
Because it has everything in it still.
Oh,
Plus
okay.
a cage, plus now an iron block 6-cylinder, plus
Got it.
bigger different axles. So,
You kept it comfy though.
yeah, it's got full interior and everything. It had AC until very recently.
Oh.
Yeah. I like that. When I heard first about Drift Week stuff, I'm like, these guys are idiots. Thinking about you guys driving around in like stripped down S chassis and just like bare frame cars, but it sounds like you guys at least did it somewhat more intelligently with
Well,
interiors.
That's the thing. I'm calling out Chelsea because he was cheating. He was actually towing the car.
Oh, well, so I did tow my car to Albuquerque
Okay.
from Texas because it was like really icy and Chelsea didn't want to drive. And then from that point on, the car was driven every mile of the trip. And
Oh, really?
I towed other people's cars
Oh.
But you were still
that were
DQ'd.
broken down. So the short trip that I towed my car was, I think, made up by towing everyone else's broken shit around.
Oh,
But did
okay.
you get DQ'd from this points race we haven't heard much about?
Maybe. I don't know.
You don't know. It
I
seems
don't know
people
what
are pretty
final points
unclear.
were. But to me, it was like, if I towed and saved enough people's days.
Yeah.
So, like, I flew to St. Louis and drove a demo. And during that time, someone was driving my car all the miles. And I was towing their blown up Corvette. So, I mean, I feel like that evens it out as a gesture.
I would think so, and that's just a beautiful thing for you as a Ford driver, just towing a blown up Corvette.
Yeah, it was good. I was like, oh, I'm ripping on this Mustang right now while Chelsea tows the Corvette around the country.
Yeah.
Huh.
What was, I remember you told me at RS a little story about your worst mechanical issue.
Oh, what was it?
Something about a gearbox running thirsty.
Oh, yeah. No, just I guess at some point somebody broke the drain bolt off the transmission. It was there during my nut and bolt check.
Yeah.
Oh.
But it was driven with no fluid for about 800 miles and then drifted an entire event with no fluid. And the reason I know it was already broken was because I was under the car, like jacking it up and replacing an axle, and there was like, fluid drops all over the back of the car. And I was like, wonder what that is. Whatever.
Yeah.
The axle in.
Sounds right.
Yeah, and then I went and drove the whole event. So I definitely at least did some street driving and an entire event with no ATF in the trans.
That sounds like a mighty fucking transmission to run 800, probably very hard miles. No
Yeah.
fluid.
Well, yeah, then like probably 6 sets of tires at the track ripping it. And I'm like, man, this thing shifts like crap. And then I'm like,
Yeah.
I wasn't shifting very much. I'm like, it's probably the shifter bushings. And then it made a really loud squeal for about 20 seconds and locked your tires up.
The old squeal of death. And I'm still amazed that you guys were able to find parts and repair cars on the road. But you.
Yeah, I had a spare gearbox with me and some other things. Just because the gearbox in my car has the original gearbox and it hasn't broken yet. So I was like, at some point it's probably going to break. It probably would have gone another 10 years, but...
Yeah.
but
Did you store that in the communal trailer, or how did you store that thing?
yeah, I have like a little box on the front of my trailer that I keep spare diff, axles, trans, all sorts of stuff in there.
Nice.
I'm so confused about this. So you had your own personal trailer that you were towing?
Oh, so I guess I should tell the whole story.
Yeah.
I went and drove Desert Mayhan a month beforehand and then drove to Texas to spend Christmas with my family.
Oh, so
And
convenient.
since we have the RV on the top of the truck type thing, we were traveling and using that. And then when we decided to do this trip, we are like, oh, we'll just leave the rig down there and then come back with it.
Yeah.
So
Got it.
I had all of my spares. I did definitely cheat in that aspect.
Yeah.
But I also had to bring like 30 tires because I couldn't ship them to each area like everybody else was.
Yeah.
Because I had to be on Nittos. So not that it's a bad thing.
Yeah.
But it just, I was like, we might as well just drive the rig.
Yeah, it's a
Other
bad
people
thing.
had support trucks too, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you were saying about the nice interior. Everybody did a good job of that. Dustin Miles basically drove his FD car, hit a
Yeah, we heard.
dog box, and like Lexan windows, stripped doors.
Smart
Good on
man.
Oh yeah.
I like his style. I'm very happy about his commitment to the
I
to
think
the
his
cause.
car is probably the most reliable car the whole event, though.
The one that didn't break at all.
Yeah.
I mean,
Overbuilt.
it kind of makes sense because, like you said, it was practically his FD car, which like a proper FD car will last a long time and be a great car. Like
Yeah,
not
for
a great street car because of its smelliness and its noise and its efficiency and all that shit. But as far as reliability, a proper, not over-tuned, over-juiced FD car is probably pretty reliable.
Yep. I did actually beat him in the mile per gallon challenge by about a third of a mile per gallon. So
Oh, nice.
we did good.
I mean, I wouldn't have expected an FD car to do well on a mile per gallon challenge, but
Well, he had a stock 1J in there with an upgraded turbo, but dog box
Yeah.
and all the fancy stuff. But we were both running at like 5,000 RPM on the highway, so neither of us were doing very good.
yeah. Before we let you go, Chelsea, we got a couple super chats. I forgot to mention at the head of the show, super chat. If you're listening live on YouTube right now, you can do a little soupy chat, and we'll ask a question of a guys. And stay sideways for $6.99. Very good with your numbers. How are you going to kick ass come LB? I think he's asking you when you're going to lose some weight.
Yeah, that's what it
Kick
sounds
ass,
like.
get rid of
I'm
those
trying to lose
pounds.
some weight because I'm getting married next month. So
Yeah, congrats. Chelsea on Chelsea action.
Yeah.
You heard it here first. Girl Chelsea, boy Chelsea, finally tying the knot. That's very exciting.
forever, right?
Forever. Girl Chelsea is one of the coolest drift girls out there. So she's fucked because you are a drift weenie boy, but you know, just kidding. No, it'll be a good. I'm pumped. It's a very exciting thing. And you're getting married like right before the season. Yeah, you said a month.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
March
Nice.
13th. Yeah,
Nice.
Are you gonna tie the knot as stormtroopers, or what's your deal?
basically that's the plan.
Star Wars wedding? Dig it.
Yeah.
Do it. You're gonna dress like
No,
Han
it's
Solo.
a very simple wedding. So
Nice.
With pizza.
with pizza. Yep,
Please.
pizza and donuts.
We still,
Oh, yeah.
just FYI, we haven't received our invitations yet. So maybe they
I
got
mean,
lost in the
it's-
mail. So I just want
I
to make
mean,
sure,
everyone
It's a little slow.
Yeah.
You should get
Everyone
yours
has-
on the 14th. You know.
Everyone asked Jared Dean to MC their wedding. I think they should ask all three of us, Corey Absent, at the moment to
there you
MC
go.
their wedding. That's the move.
You guys
Have
all
three
officiate us.
The four
but you have to
corners.
each only say one word at a time. So you have
Yes.
to memorize it all one word at a time.
That's perfect. All right, we'll try to answer stateside with
Maximum
original.
wedding cast.
That's a good name for that.
Oh,
we could
my
just do a
God.
live podcast from the wedding during the
Oh.
ceremony. That'd be cool.
Oh God. Chelsea would saw my head off, and I would let her.
Is she being a is she being a wedding tyrant? Is she planning specifics that shut up, Siri? God damn it.
Sorry.
No,
So-
she's planning it, but it's all gravy. It's all smooth.
nice. That's cool.
We pretty much planned our entire wedding in 2 weeks. So
That
Damn,
sounds pretty
That's
efficient.
nice.
yeah.
All right,
So we
so
only
stateside
yelled at
was-
each other every day for 2 weeks instead of like a year.
That's it. You know, I mean, if you break up before the wedding, you just save that much more money, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Stay Sideways was asking, how are you going to kick ass at LLB? What's your FD plan to kick ass here?
I mean, I'm winning a championship this year, and that's pretty
Mhm.
much it. James,
If you just settle the fuck down, man. We've talked about this.
dude, I am settling down. I'm getting married.
Oh,
That's true. Oh, maybe she'll take that edge off and make you actually just drive at 9.9 for once instead of 13. You
Hey,
dumb
man, I
bitch.
drove at 9.4 a lot last year, and it
You
worked
did,
really
and
well.
you won. You won every time you did.
Yeah,
that's actually the right number apparently.
Yeah,
yeah.
figure it out.
Nice.
Chris Nelson also says, "What do you think about the electric Mustang?"
I think it's rad.
The Mustang
So
SUV.
it's kind of funny. I made a post about it when they finally released the photos, and I had seen them a little bit beforehand. But I was actually like mega pumped on it because I'm a sedan dude, and it's a 4-door, and the shape of it and everything is like literally ideal for what I would like. So I made a post about it, and I was pretty pumped about it, and everyone's like, "Oh, Ford must have paid you to make this post, this and that." And I'm like, "Damn, dude, like, you guys are blowing it for me." I'm like, I actually really love this car, like, and I'm super pumped on all the electric stuff,
Yeah.
and the shape of it and everything was rad because it's very functional, you know. And
Yeah.
like, I think that it is a really good move for them to do that, you know.
For sure. I really like the aesthetic of it, honestly. I'm not sure about the Mustang name. I like if they just called it like the Ford Mach-E, like I think that would have been okay with a lot of people. And like, oh, it kind of looks like a Mustang, that's cool. But like, I wish I could sit in the marketing meeting and hear from the horse's mouth, get it? Because the Mustang's a horse.
Yeah.
It's a very funny joke. Yeah. Hear from the pony's mouth on that decision because it has obviously been controversial. But I think it's a cool car, and I think it's cool.
I think
they're doing
Ford lost an opportunity to call it the Ford Clydesdale, since they had like different kind of horses. You know, this one's the big one, so we can have the Pinto, the Mustang, and now the Clydesdale. You know, the big horse. But
Hear me out, Ford Pony Boy.
Ford Pony Boy.
They call the car the Pony Boy. Is that okay?
Oh, Pony Boy, or Pony Man for the big one.
Pony Man. Well, there'd be two versions. There'd be the coupe, and then the SUV.
I think that's what it's coming down to. It's like a family of Mustangs.
See that was my prediction. I think Ford, what they're doing is they're turning the Mustang brand into the brand. So now they're gonna have like Mustang SUV, Mustang
Ford is
coupe.
Branding people?
No, branding vehicles.
Oh,
like a brand on a horse, or
yeah, I mean, like, you know, like how Genesis, like Hyundai Genesis, and now it's Genesis. I think Ford is gonna become Mustang is gonna become its own separate brands, and it's gonna be oriented
I hope
to
they come out with a like electric Mustang, like as in like not the Mach-E.
Well, they did at SEMA
and type of electric Mustang.
They had that one
from the Mach-E into a Mustang.
Yeah, I think that'd be rad.
They had that one at SEMA. I mean, they're like hinting it.
Yeah,
so
people are making them.
Yeah,
it is a thing. We'll see.
Chelsea. Oh, sorry, Paco.
I was just gonna say before. Yeah, but real quick because we haven't talked really Drift Week with Chelsea.
I was gonna get there.
Oh, okay, you get there then.
No, you do it.
Okay. Chelsea, there's a video on Matt Field's YouTube where like you run out of your car to go help a friend in on fire, and then you can see your car just like rolling backwards by itself.
Really?
I think your passenger maybe pulled the e-brake for you or something.
Yeah, she did. Well, because I had done like 4 laps in a row, and like I was obviously pulling up to the fire, and Chelsea was with me. I'm like, get the fire extinguisher. So as we're pulling up, she's ripping the fire extinguisher out, getting all ready, and I jump out, and Matt and I are running, and my car starts rolling back, and she pulls the handbrake. But I told her not to shut the car off because the water temps were like 230 something.
Oh no!
If you shut it off, we're gonna lift the head of this motor. Yeah. Just leave it running somehow. So then she eventually got out and it started rolling again. So it rolled back another like 20 feet. But that's okay.
Yeah, I mean there were bigger fish to fry at the moment.
Much bigger fish
to
fry.
Sam, that was such a such a bad taste.
Yeah. I guess a stingray is a fish.
A stingray, yeah. What are your thoughts on the whole fire situation? So obviously there's like a lot of controversy going on.
We covered it extensively earlier, by the way, with Dan. So we don't need to go into too many details. But what's your one take on it?
No, it just sucks, like, because that was like an important car to him. You know, his dad gave it to him, and it was kind of had a long story behind it. So it was tough to see that happen, and like you could just hear him screaming like for help and whatnot, and it was like somebody like his family member was in there. That sounded like, you know, it was man. Dude, it was so sad.
That had some sad humanity to that situation. Damn.
Yeah.
It looks like a lot of people came up and donated for Rudy's GoFundMe, which I thought it was very nice. Obviously, I mean, I think that I personally just seems like he's such a good guy that everybody knows him, that he's a good guy, and everybody just decided to pitch in and help. So
yeah,
that was very nice, I guess.
however you want to do it. You know, I think that if I could help in any way, I would. What are you doing right now? Oh my God. Somebody feeding you that?
Stephanie just fed me a gigantic roll of sushi.
Oh my
Perfect.
god.
Uh,
Instant
He's
re-
eating. I'm hungry. I'm trying to be polite here. You have to call me out. You got to put me on blast.
dude, it's chewing
Tell me
your
this
mouth,
emotional
so,
story about a dude who lost his family member car.
Yeah. So, but yeah. Anyways, I'm glad everybody kind of helped out, and hopefully he can get something together. And,
Yeah.
You know, I know he was. You know, everybody on that trip was spending quite a bit of money to go out and try to live this dream. So it was cool.
We
to see people help
determined
out.
with Wicknick and Pal that it's still like more or less the same price as like an adult vacation for 2 weeks. Granted, you already have the car, and let's assume you don't blow a bunch of money fixing your
Right.
car. It's not that bad.
Yeah, I think I don't know like numbers wise, but I think I spent like about $4,000 doing it.
That's what the guys
But
more or
also,
less
I
said.
didn't
So,
have, like that doesn't include tires or you
oh
know,
wow,
any of those types of things. for
never
me.
mind.
Yeah.
Cool.
Well, we're excited to hear more about your FD season. Hopefully, closer to the season. I'm sure you got some cool shit to talk about. But
Yeah.
in the meantime, get some
Let's
sleep.
get
Sounds like
together in
Drift Week was hard on everyone.
Taxing.
It was taxing. It was rad though. I would definitely do it
Nice.
again, and I will for sure.
Go get married.
Yeah, go get
know.
married and come back a married man.
Congrats, Chelsea's.
Thanks.
Hell yeah,
All right,
dude.
dudes.
All right, buddy.
later,
Thanks
man.
for your
Thank
time,
you.
man. Have a good night.
Sweat. You too, man. See you guys.
Bye.
Yeah. Corey just showed up in chat. Corey says, "Sorry, I was locking down my house."
Shredder.
You can't just say the name. You can't
I just
yell the name of
did.
the next
I mean,
guy's god.
I told it 3
Can you,
times.
like write it on a paper airplane and throw it at him. God damn it! So unprofessional.
I don't have that kind of technology in here.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe
So-
there's a can of SpaghettiOs with letters behind. Maybe you could just kind of pop that open, write out the letters.
I mean,
No.
yeah, well, actually, it's not a bad idea. Like a can of spaghetti
Yeah,
with a
thank
string. Talk to the.
Uh,
Give me 1 second.
yeah, Paco, you clearly are very engaged.
No.
I'll sing a song to the people. Corey, you're in chat now. Corey, it seems like you had someone install your doorbell, which clearly was a very important thing for the past hour and 22 minutes. Corey posts the fart video, says Daniel. And Daniel's not wrong, Corey. We've talked about this fart video for years now. Please post the fart video. Sometimes I wonder personally if he's ever going to post that fart video, because he says he keeps on toying with us, and he's like, I'll post the video if this, I'll post the video if this.
Sorry, had a little bit of an error. Give me 1 quick second.
Hello.
Hey, Sam. 1 second. We're getting it back together right now.
Yeah, sounds good. I was talking that whole time to try to see if I could keep the show alive and going. Looks like we're still live, though.
It's just those Skype things. We're almost done. 10 seconds.
Hey, everyone. Not sure if you can hear me, but this is what we call a technical difficulty.
Almost there. It's ringing.
Boy, what was I talking about? I think I was talking about the fact that...
I'm back, sorry.
Oh, hey, you're back.
There you go.
Hey, I'm here.
Hey.
Hey, we're here.
Who-
We've just been having the perfect stream over here. Dan Brockett called us the most professional drift podcast on the universe, and we just proved it here, folks.
Sounds like someone's lying.
No, I would not. Do you have video on your Skyping?
There's no video in this one. This one's actual just phone call because this gentleman is on the road where there's a very bad internet service. So,
Well, the good news is he might just get a couple more phone calls because they may have been seen on screen, but who's to say, really? Is our show back before we have a dope-ass best interview conversation we've ever had? Like, I see that the YouTube is live, but can everyone hear us? I just want to make sure that we got a mint quality stream, as Slideways Car Club has said. Do we have a mint stream right now, guys? Is everyone happy? We have audio, we have video.
everything has been rolling actually pretty smooth, except like right now.
I
'Cause
wouldn't say pretty smooth, Paco.
except from right now.
All right. Well, who do we have on the line in case everyone didn't already see in the video stream?
You asking me?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, if you want to, if you're qualified to answer.
I don't know if I can. Fielding Shredder. How's it going?
Fielding Shredder.
Hey, the Shreds himself.
Does that
Hell yeah.
do people usually do the brah after they say your name, or is that nothing?
I haven't experienced that yet, but you know.
You just did. Fielding Shredder. Brah.
Bruh, bruh.
Does that feel good?
Yeah, that does. It reminds me of the rap video we did at Drift Week.
Well, there you go. Guys, anytime you hear that name, do the brah, and then he'll feel good. That's good to know that we can make him feel good anytime we want.
I appreciate that, guys.
Fielding, we are talking Drift Week with all of the boys.
Yeah.
We've talked to Dan the Brock man. We talked to B, the Candle Man, Wick.
We had a picnic with Wicknick.
That's good. We talked to Chelsea, the Human Sofa, DeNofa, and now it's you. You're up. What's up?
Perfect. Yeah, I've been watching the stream. You guys have been asking all the real hard hitters and
As usual.
to find out what you asked me.
Yeah, if you're so smart, what are we going to ask you?
Nah, that's just it. I think you've answered all the boring ones. So, yeah.
Let's talk about the fire. No, it's not. We've already talked about the fire. I don't know. Where were you when the fire happened?
I was pretty much in awe and just staring at it like, what the fuck do I do? What do I do? What do I do?
Slowly unzipped your
so
pants.
Fast. Yeah, like, it happened so fast that I was just like, I don't even know. And then by the time I figured out to find an extinguisher, it was done. It was already completely uncontrollable. So
it sounds like it all unwound very fast.
it did. It was super fast.
Damn.
Unbelievable.
What was your... Sorry, Paco, do you have one?
Oh, yeah, I was gonna say. Well, I mean, kind of like bringing back up to before getting too deep into Drift Week. It's the first time we have Shredder on the show.
Really? I feel like
Yeah.
I feel like I guess it was in my dreams that we talked to Mr. Shreds.
Yeah. He for those who don't know, he just relatively recently was on that Hyperdrive show. I would say
on the TV.
Arguably had the best hair on the whole episode show.
Was there an argument? I feel like I think he
No
probably
argument
won.
here.
Yeah.
I think the only other best hairs on the show was some of the ladies, and I still think Shredder took the best hair.
Don't be a creep, Paco.
I'm not.
Shredder had the best hair.
Yeah, he had.
They didn't give me like a fan for fake wind or anything, so they had an unfair advantage, I think.
I want to talk to Paco. I know right as the show was airing, we wanted to talk to the drifty people that were on it. Like, I definitely want to do a full episode with whoever drifties that we want that came on the show. So you and Sarah,
Farouk,
and Luke.
Farouk.
Oh, wait, no, Farouk. Yeah, and Farouk and Aaron.
There's a few of the hyperdriver drifter guys that we want to have on the show. Do a full episode about hyperdrive.
Yeah, we could definitely do that. Whenever you guys want to do a full hyperdrive show, I'm down.
But right now, where are you hyperdriving to right now? Because we can hear the car.
I'm kind of like ending my drift week right now. My spotter from Hyperdrive, actually, my bestest bud, Mike Van Schellenbeck,
Hi, Mike.
came and saved the day. He brought his wedge all the way out to California to drag our broken cars back.
Oof.
So yeah, that's what we're doing now. We're about midway through West Texas. We were driving straight back from Arizona today, and so we're about halfway.
Oh, the middle of Texas. That's a really pretty part to drive through, I've heard.
Yeah, super flat and super dark. So there's
Lots of
nothing happening.
turns, lots
Right.
of scenery.
Nice.
Yep.
What did you drive at the drifting week?
So I actually took my car from Hyperdrive, my F14, and like an idiot, street drove it the entire way. I put over 3,000 miles on it, and
Shit, yeah.
I drove literally from Austin, Texas, all the way to the beach in California. And I took a photo there, and I was like, I fucking did it. So,
And describe this car. Do you have interior? What engine? What transmission?
yeah, so it's like a Pro-Am level drift car. It's got tube front and rear. It's got BC coilovers and all the typical drift goodies with steering angle and stuff, all Heim joint arms. It's a 2JZ under the hood with a R154.
Nice.
Paco, while you were describing those marvelous specs, Paco looked like he caught what looked like a pack of cigarettes and smelt them. Is that what that was?
No, it's a bar of soap. This Dream Tank
It's a
came
bar
on the
of soap.
chat,
Okay.
and I
It
was
looked
like, oh.
someone like you were trying to take a hill in Vietnam and someone
No.
threw you a pack. And you were really pumped on it. Okay.
Oh.
Sorry for that rude interruption.
Sorry.
So we heard that Dustin's car was pretty raw. Would you say you had maybe the next rawest car out there? Is he dead?
His call dropped.
Oh, he's like in the middle of Texas with that.
Fucking Texas. All right, Brian, do you want to be fielding for a minute? He's probably trying to call him back. Paco, do you want to be fielding?
Brian B. Fielding.
No, Paco, you be fielding.
Oh, I need
Or
to
are
go
you...
there.
Roleplay is ruined. It says this is the problem,
So,
folks.
yeah,
Internet, when you try to call 5 drivers who are all driving across the country, except for Chelsea. He was already asleep in his room before we called him. But we got to talk to a couple peeps on the road there. Dan was just eagerly waiting to hop on the road as we were calling him. Fielding, I don't know if you guys knew this. I was being facetious when I said that west middle of Texas was really pretty and cool. It's not that cool.
Hey, you got me?
Hey, there he is.
Yeah. Sorry, East Texas life.
Yeah, East Texas.
West
My
Tex-
bad.
West Texas.
West Tex-
West
it's
Texas.
all.
Sorry, my
it's,
bad.
it's
My
all
bad.
the
It's all
same.
Texas.
It's all the same.
It's all, yeah. There's no cell towers for miles.
Yeah. What So we heard that Dustin's car was pretty raw dog style. But would you say that your car was the next most raw dog style?
Yeah, I think absolutely. You know, the fact that I prepped this thing in just a couple weeks to try and run on a road trip was pretty insane. I got some heated seat inserts from
Ooh.
Amazon because I have absolutely no heating or air conditioning. I have no trunk or anything to hold stuff, so I had to just like pile all my gear and camera stuff and bags and my co-driver stuff as well, just like on top of my AccuSump, on top of my fire bottle, on top of the seat
I can
area.
speak from experience that S14s have a ton of room.
Oh, right. And my car is fully caged, like
Yeah.
bucket seats, no creature comforts. You know, I've got windshield wipers, but that's about it. I have
Did you have
very
like a
terrible
Bluetooth
headlights.
speaker or something?
So I actually spent a lot of time and effort installing like a full radio with like a little mini sub in the trunk and stuff.
Hell yeah! You
Turns
got
out-
the sub. That's what I'm saying, guys.
Yeah,
You can
yeah,
have
I
a
did all
stripped down
that.
race car and get a sub still.
Right, I did that, and then at about 80 miles an hour, you can't hear a damn thing. Doesn't matter how loud it is, turned up, the car is infinitely louder.
Nice.
So that was a
Yeah.
waste of time and money.
What was the highlight of your Drift Week experience?
Oh man, I think probably the fact that we got to go to so many unbelievable tracks. Actually, no, the highlight for me is the fact that I didn't crash. That was amazing.
Yeah.
That like the fact that my bodywork looks about exactly the same as it does when I left.
That's very uncharacteristic from you, man.
Yeah.
I know. I feel very accomplished. I feel like almost like an adult driver now.
You
that I
finally
was able
you
to
grew
drive.
up.
Yeah. And also, I think I probably took the most laps of anyone when you combine every track. So I'm pretty positive. I'm definitely within the top like 3, so I feel pretty accomplished about that too.
Nice.
What was your favorite track of the circuit?
Really tough to say. I like them all for lots of different reasons. I think the most special was Indy for us because we were basically the first drifters ever there, and we just got to completely go absolutely insane on their like really high elevation change course. And we were being real jackasses, and they didn't tell us to stop, so that was really fun.
That's
Nice.
always the best feeling.
Yeah, right. When you're like, oh my god, I'm like basically at a Formula One track, and there's supposed to be like rich people around scoffing at us, and instead they're all just clapping and laughing while we throw rocks at them.
Yeah, right. It's like you do something that you think you're not supposed to do, but then no one says anything. You're like, oh, okay, I guess. Okay, I guess we'll keep doing this.
Right. Yeah, you just keep pushing the envelope. By the end, we were just like blasting off course at 100 miles an hour, just throwing gravel everywhere and just laughing.
That's not cool. You shut it
Yeah,
down
it
when
was
you go off
amazing.
course. Anyone listening to this right now, if you're at an amateur drift event and you go off course, you shut it down.
Yeah, 100%
Ruins the whole.
true. Right.
Fielding, what kind of
That's
mentor are you?
I'm not. I'm a bad one. But that's
You
what
were
made
on the
it fun, is
TV.
The fact that we did that. Yeah.
We trusted you since you've been on the TV, and now you're saying that you should throw big fat roosty
No,
tails?
you shouldn't.
Okay.
You shouldn't. But if you do, sometimes it's kind of cool. That's all.
I mean, we'll
My
save it
car
for
was-
the. Go ahead.
Yeah. My car was halfway rally car that event. Let's put it that way.
Okay. Very good.
Nice.
Oh, it's funny that Chris
So-
Nelson in chat just said, ask him about rallying at Indy. So good timing.
Yeah. There you go. It was fun. Good rally. Course.
Nice.
A+.
Yeah.
So
Because we can do a little preview of our hyperdrive show because we're not only talking about Drift Week, even though that is the primary focus. But like, what was your biggest takeaway from that entire experience? You can be as.
Yeah, I think just the fact that the world has loved it and embraced it so much, it's really kind of set the stage for maybe doing it again. And of course, it's something that I want to do if I can.
Spoilers. How did you end up in it? Or not? How did you end up? How did you end up like in the placement of the show?
I did pretty damn good. Are you talking about Hyperdrive or Drift Week? Sorry, I'm.
Hyperdrive. Drift Week. We know you're not allowed to say necessarily. We were told
Oh,
no
right.
spoilers on that.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So Hyperdrive, I finished on the podium. My story arc was absolutely absurd. So I highly encourage if anyone who's listening or watching who hasn't seen it, watch it all the way through. Don't just stop when shit hits the fan. I promise there's more excitement in the last 3 episodes than the rest of the series combined.
is there a
really?
That's all I'll
cliffhanger?
say there. The last 3 episodes will like blow your mind.
Yeah, it was
Really?
pretty good.
Full disclosure,
Yes.
I didn't make it past the first few because we got busy with other stuff, but I will definitely have to go back.
Yeah, absolutely. So like it's fine to kind of skip through and maybe avoid some of the backstories if you're bored of that part, but like watch the driving, at least on the drivers that you really like, and you'll see kind of the progression of the courses as they went on. It got harder and harder and more dangerous, and
Oh,
you
cool.
got to keep in mind that everything on that show was done first take, one try,
Right.
no redos, no do-overs, like no
Yeah.
practice even. It was go time.
Yeah, like I didn't enjoy necessarily the hyper sensationalism of a lot of the what I would consider minor feats, but also like the show's not. I had to tell myself like a show's not for me. Like we're
Right.
we're in pretty fucking deep into this universe of car dorkage, and it's
For
like
sure.
if they made a show for me, 99% of the viewers wouldn't like it. I think so. It's like
Right.
so it's like it's for my mom. No, it's not. My mom's too deep. My mom's in too deep. It's for not moms of drifters. It's for like regular moms, regular not drift moms. And I think it did awesome with that. And anything that gives a little bit of a spotlight on our little humble community makes me very happy. So I'm pumped that it exists, and
Yeah,
would never shit talk the general purpose of it.
For sure. And I think just to that exact point is they did a really good job of making it easy to digest for anyone. And now people are more interested in driving, racing, drifting, whatever you want to call it. But people are now like appreciative of the fact that there are people that can take a 3,000-pound chunk of metal and put it through these obstacles and not kill themselves. Pretty cool.
Right. Yeah. Which is a very, again, it's like we all take that for granted, but it's a very foreign concept to a lot of people and becoming rarer and rarer as time goes on. But it's weird for people to think that people do this willingly, and we do.
Right. Exactly. And to that point, like the fact that they're now learning there are people who are willing to sacrifice their cars. They all think of their cars like my only way to work, my only way of income, and we think of them like toys.
No.
You know, and they're like,
Yep.
totally different world.
No, I'll blow that thing up in a heartbeat.
Right. Exactly. Just for the good of the entertainment value.
Do it for the vines,
Yeah.
Shredder. That's what
Right.
we always say. What?
I mean,
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, based on my performance, I think you'd agree I did that.
You did
You
it for the vine. Yep.
Oh man, now I'm gonna have to go back and watch this. I have to actually go through the entire Netflix F1 show because I only made it like 3 episodes into that too. Not because it wasn't a great show, it just got sidetracked. But I
Sure.
have to
love
work
that
with a
show.
bunch of F1 drivers next week, and I don't know who most of them are. So I kind of got to figure that out. So
Yeah, do your
that's
research.
that's gonna be my homework is watching TV so I can direct F1 drivers, which is gonna be awkward as hell.
Perfect.
Hey, Shredder.
Yeah.
I would say you're probably the closest of the Drift Weekers. You're the closest to Aaron. Do you have anything to do with the organization of the event?
Yeah, so in the beginning, Aaron and I are good friends, been friends for a long time, and he tends to bounce ideas off me and ask kind of like, would you do this? What do you think about it? So I was there for the kind of preliminary stages, and we just chat about like how it could be cool and how we could pull it off, basically. But yeah, I think overall it was definitely a successful project.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people are hyped about it.
I
I feel like there was less damage on the cars and less like, besides the one, obviously, we
yeah,
pretty much pulled it off flawlessly.
yeah, yeah, and
I mean, considering that everyone's still alive and relatively unscathed, losing a car, I feel like that sounds kind of a given. It was very unfortunate how it occurred, but man, I would have thought that the fact that you put a bunch of raucous drifters together and all you did was
Right.
flip a trailer, blow up a couple engines and transmissions, and completely burn down an
Yeah.
entire car, that's not so bad.
That's pretty amazing. That's
Yeah.
almost like scripted drama. Like you wanted all of those things to happen at the very least, right?
yeah. The reason, part of the reason I'm asking because I kind of heard that the original plan for Drift Week was to be like a Cannonball Run style thing, or of like a last man standing kind of competition, where like the last car, that's still running and driving and drifting is pretty much a winner, something like that. Is that true, or is that something that you guys think about implementing next Drift Week?
Well, I think maybe you just got a slight misinterpretation. Basically, the idea was that we all start in one location, and we have set dates and times that we have to be at each of these tracks, and those track days cannot move, so there's no flexibility on the calendar. So if you get stuck, you get left behind. Like no one else is going to stop and fix whatever. If it's a couple-hour job, okay, but if it's like a multi-hour, overnight, 2-day type of fix, then sorry, you're on your own kind of thing. And that's basically what happened. I mean, we all had to get to the destination. I had plenty of car troubles of my own. Luckily, we kind of packed up in groups of 2 or 3 instead of trying to take all 12 to 15 of us in one group. But that was good. That was beneficial. And then we tried to keep like the transport truck behind everybody, but because we had so many breakdowns and people taking different routes, like that kind of ended up being a bit of a disaster at some points, where the tow truck's like 3 hours in front of you and they have all the tools, and you're like, well, crap, I'm stuck here in Amarillo. How do I get out of this jam? So other than that, like it was kind of like a cannonball run because everyone had to get there, but like we would leave you behind if you got stuck for too long.
Were there like scavenger hunt aspects outside of the tracks? Like, were there missions to do? Someone told us that there was a mission to do a totally legal street drift at some point, but it's like, were there other little goals and objectives to complete outside of the main ones?
Yeah, absolutely. There was several. I can't tell them all, but like the typical fun stuff that you would think of to do on like a road trip with your boys. And then I even had a couple on mine. Like I have hidden throughout the entire country pairs of shredder dice
nice.
in different locations, and I'm going to release all at once, like where they all are, and see who can go get them first.
And Shredder dice, that's like a type of weird sex toy, or what's that?
Well, you'll have to find one and find out.
Oh, gross. Grow up.
Yeah. I'll mail you some.
All right, cool.
Send me your PO box.
I don't have a P.O. box. I'll tell you my social security and address right now.
666
All right, perfect.
666-6666.
55.
969.
Hail Satan. What you said your car broke a bunch. What did you break?
Yeah, so like I had fuel pump issues. I had all kinds of problems. My suspension stuff eventually got loose. I broke a diff. Nut and bolting things would have been wise. The car started overheating pretty bad.
Hold on. I want to reflect on that statement for a minute. Nut and bolting things would have been wise.
Yeah, just when you imagine like solid bushing everything, you're driving thousands of miles in one go. It's pretty stupid to like expect that everything will stay tight. So
I feel like those dudes that took street cars and made them drifty cheated.
Yeah.
I feel like you did it proper of taking a drift car and trying to street it. Like proper as being the worst idea, but the most interesting.
Totally. Yeah, and that was exactly like I was thinking about it because I have another like boring car that I could have taken. I was like, no, I'm doing this the right way. I want to get the most like appreciation from the internet. My back is gonna fucking hate me, which it does. But I wanted to really embody the spirit of Drift Week, just like Drag Week, where they really are taking these drag cars and they're driving them on the street. I did the same thing. So as miserable as it was, I did it for the entertainment of everyone and to prove that I could do it. And here we are. I pulled it off.
And a good experience. We've asked like everyone what their like favorite part is, but what was the shittiest part? Like what was rock bottom for you?
Stuck in LA traffic while like the car's overheating.
Oh yeah.
Bad.
I've done that in my daily before, and that's no fun in that. I can only imagine in a.
And the drift car is terrible, and also like the pure anxiety I had of just being like pulled over by California police and have my car crushed, because my car is highly illegal there.
Oh, of course. But you have some sort of cool registration deal in where's your home state?
No, like
Texas.
I live in Austin, Texas, and all I did was go and get a temporary paper tag for 30 days and just stick it on my car. And like
that's legit.
It's legit in Texas, I think. I have no idea what happens in California.
Yeah, I did a couple of those in Arizona on my car. I did like a collector's car insurance thing, trying to say there was a collector's car that I was rebuilding, and that got me a license plate for a little bit. And then I used to use like 3 of the temporary ones to get through the year to drive it to the track. I know that. I know that game.
Right. Yeah, that's the game. Only my car's not old enough yet. It's a '97, so I can't get It's not 25 yet. I'm in this like weird area where I have a really old, shitty Nissan, but I also can't get it classic.
Yeah. Mine was only 95, but I guess Arizona probably has different laws than Texas. But I imagine Texas should be. Come on, it's the land of the free. Something.
So if I change my license address to a county that has no smog, then I can register it for safety only, and I'm good. But then all my mail goes there, and so there's that problem.
Yeah. I actually got my S14 to pass emissions at one point, but I think it was KA, and I put a cat on it, and somehow it passed emissions.
Nice.
Yeah.
So that would be OBD1. That's the sniffer test. Mine.
Oh yeah, because you had OBD2. That's the thing. That's what got me through. Is I was OBD1 because the year after 95 they changed it, right? Yeah.
Yep. So that's why I'm screwed on that.
That will do
I have a full standalone. Like there ain't no OBD2 plug left.
Yeah. Or you could just find a bribery person like everyone that modifies cars does in California, and you pay $600 for some shady ass shit that takes many months. Not that I did that, but I've heard people that have.
Right, exactly. I might eventually find someone who told me about that.
Yeah.
But yeah, drifting all the different courses was like pretty unreal experience. And then like we had so much fun that we ended up going back to a couple of the tracks on the way back home and just doing another bonus day.
That's disgusting, you monster.
It was.
So
my car is currently undrivable. I blew out the cam seals and it oiled down the entire car at the very end of this last day. So now it's officially done. It's on the trailer.
Yeah, I
I
guess
wonder
what people have been telling us their budget for the thing, it really didn't most of the time consider replacing most of the parts in the car that are now broken. Because like even if it's not broken as a result directly occurring on this trip, it's gonna happen soon because you guys put a
course.
bunch of miles, very hard miles, on cars that were modified in
Yeah.
ways that aren't kind to long miles on the freeway.
No, exactly. Like all the fluids in my car are now done. My clutch is probably
Yeah.
about to go. I chewed through an entire pair of tires just on the street because I never changed my drift alignment. So I just had like a ton of toe out up front, toe in the rear, and the car's like darting around everywhere. One of the worst
God,
parts actually
I didn't even
was-
think about alignment for all you.
Yeah. Oh, so
Oh, man.
bad, dude. So bad. Some people were changing the alignment like before street driving, and I was like, nah, I'm not messing with that. I'm just gonna drive it.
Damn.
And it was kind of disastrous.
Look, you do wild card alignment, which is if it feels weird, just dip off track for a second and drop some tires like off the rumble strip. It'll
Right.
get different. It won't get better necessarily. It'll get different.
Yeah. Well, there was at one point on that nut and bolt mentioned that that I talked about the steering rack, like the steering wheel could turn about a half a turn in each direction, but the wheels would not move anywhere. The steering rack itself would just be sliding on the
That's-
subframe.
That's normal.
Yeah, that was real special.
Very good.
So,
Nice.
Well, this conversation has made me very excited about doing a longer form with you in the future. But thanks for taking the time while you're driving through beautiful Texas.
yeah, man, absolutely. Glad I could be a part of the show, and yeah, be happy to be on again.
For sure, man.
For
We'll
sure,
talk to you
man.
soon.
All right.
Thanks,
Talk to you
buddy.
See ya.
Have a good one.
later. All right, bye.
We have one more guest, Sam, but I'm not gonna say
Oh.
his name.
Don't say his
I'm
fucking name.
Very professional here.
Otherwise, they'll have no idea. Not that it's in the title of the show on the bottom of YouTube if you're watching live, nor is it in the title of the podcast that you're listening to after the fact.
Yeah.
So there's no way you would know who this would be, even unless Paco yelled it out loud right now to
Yeah.
say to Big Balls Brian who the last guest is. He's a doozy. I don't know if we should end on this guy. He's a real fireball, but we'll do our best. Corey is clearly still installing his doorbell. That was his excuse for not coming on the show tonight, was installing his doorbell. If I swear to fucking God, if he's live on Twitch right now, I'm gonna pop
Punch
a
him
boner. No,
in
I'm gonna
the
pop
gonads.
All right, he's offline. Don't worry, we're good.
Okay. Speaking.
But this guy-
nerd?
Oh, speaking of nerds.
You're a nerd. Go play your Fortnites and do your jive dances, kid.
It's Fortnite.
You more of an Apex guy?
Oh,
What's Apex?
Grow up, Matfield. Oh shit, I blew it.
oh, good job, Samuel.
Damn it.
What do you
Matt-
mean? What's Apex?
We can see your face, brother.
Do you first of all, before I answer any more, do you have a video button on that there telly?
There we go. Yes. Sorry, I'm looking for wiring things.
There you
Oh,
go.
what are you doing right
Oh.
now?
I'm working on I'm literally right now I'm up in my trailer. Look.
What are you doing?
I'm working on my car, dude.
Dude, you've been working on your car for like the past 2 weeks. Take a break.
No. See, I had 2 weeks off of dicking around and hanging out with a bunch of idiots.
Oh.
So now it's time to work on my car.
Your car.
Yeah, not the play car, the real car. Here, I'm going
Yeah.
back into the shop.
Yeah,
Real
thanks.
FD car.
Yeah. Competition, Johnny.
Competition, Johnny. Did you get that C8 going yet? Oh.
Look, he's connecting probably to his Wi-Fi. Let's see what a second.
Yeah,
see
his
if it-
Wi-Fi. He's picking up his signals. He right now he's texting me. He said, "Yeah, I got a C8. I'm just not telling anyone yet. You'll see it revealed at Long Beach. Please don't bring it up again."
Breaking
Copy that.
news.
Copy that,
we
Matt
good?
Field. Yep, there we are. Yeah, I just don't worry. I told everyone the secret. He's worried. Oh fuck. He's coming. He hung up. I feel like everyone on this show has really struggled with their connections.
He's at his shop.
He's at his shop. He's at the Drift Cave. He should be better
Usually
than this.
he usually has kind of like not so good Wi-Fi in there. Let's see. Okay, get him again. Matthew.
Matty boy, Matty,
Yeah.
Matty Mo.
Up.
Hey, there he is. Did you
Yeah,
just
yeah.
connect the shop
Okay.
Wi-Fi? We got you now.
Yes.
There
Better?
you go. Yeah,
Yeah.
now stop
Alright.
moving all over the place because the Wi-Fi has a hard
He's a-
time catching up with you.
He's a boy on the go. He doesn't have time for all this bullshit. Okay, we just got to keep up with him. I just told all the fans that you're busy prepping. You know, the big secret you've been texting me about. You're working on the C8 to drop at Long Beach.
Yeah, there it is right there. Just kidding. Can't show it. Yep, there it is.
Boom.
Kevin Wells, screen cap that. Look at all the cheats.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Look at the C8 chassis here. It already looks old and decrepit. How could that be?
There's no way that's been backed into a wall at Atlanta and hit dozens of other walls.
That's
Oh,
this side too, right here. This side smashed.
Yeah, that cool.
What's up, bro? Dude, it's been a while since last time we had you
been
on
a
the
while.
show.
Yeah.
Why?
It has, hasn't it?
What?
I don't know.
know.
I've just been focused on driving much more. That's been like my number one thing this off season. Fortunately, I tore the car apart like immediately right after SEMA and sent everything out. So I couldn't really do anything other than wait for other people to give me parts back. So that was the perfect opportunity to get my demo car done, drive, and obviously do rad shit like drift.
Yeah. So tell us about your demo car that you drove at Drift Week. It seemed, at least from outside appearances, like a pretty close to a street car.
Yeah, I think it's funny because it has all the old race car suspension. So now I have 3 Corvettes, right? I have my competition car, I have my demo car, and then I have a C5. That's my
Damn.
beater.
Money bags.
They're expensive cars now, but not when I got them. It's nice because everything that was developed on the competition car then goes to the C6, right? The demo
Nice.
car. And when I'm done with the parts on the demo car, then they get pushed over to the beater to the C5. So it's cool. So everything has like Parts Shop Max coilovers, everything has Parts Shop Max knuckles, and it's nice because I have all iterations, right? I have these insane billet, roll center corrected, Ackerman adjustable, like super whizzy guys on the competition car. But then on my demo car, it has like a basic OEM knuckle that's just re-drilled, and then the same thing on the C5. So it's nice to be able
It's
to
a trickle-down effect.
Right, exactly. So that's what's cool about that car. It's literally a street car with competition car suspension, a full roll cage, and full interior. Like has a
Nice.
heater, has radio, has Bluetooth connectivity, has a backup camera, has
Damn.
an alarm, has all of that.
Does it have a max speed limiter?
No speed limiter, no way. dude.
Yeah? How do you know?
Does it come with the interior straight out of a Cavalier?
No. So the cool thing about C6 interiors is that it's not from a pickup truck. They
Yeah.
designed it on its own. It's not like a C5. C5,
C5
yeah,
Yeah, I'm
is-
thinking C5. C6 is
Actually,
like a little bit
we-
better.
Yeah, it's classy. Look at this. This is a C5 right here. This is Andrew's car that he's working on. Look at that. Look at that steering wheel from a Silverado.
Oh, baby.
Shifter from a radio Silverado. Climate door panel Silverado.
Cavalier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Listen to
Yeah.
that door. Listen to that door shut. Just sounds perfect.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Well, it sounds like a truck, is what it sounds like
Yeah.
right there. Look
That
at
was
thing.
shocking to me as a valet. Is that like up until I never, as like a 18-year-old valet, I'd never driven a Corvette before. I'd only seen them on the outside. I'm like, man, look at that sports car. And then I got to get behind the wheel of one, and it was like, what the fuck is this? Like
You thought it was going to be the sickest shit ever, and then you
Yeah.
found out it was a truck.
Yeah, C5 Corvette, pretty disappointing when I first got
Yeah.
in one. But then I got to watch the progression, like see a C6. I'm like, oh, okay. And then I got to drive a C7 at like Spring Mountain and shit like that. It's like, oh, it's getting better. Haven't even been inside a C8, but I imagine it's probably almost on like Nissan Sentra 10 years ago level at this point. It's got to be good.
The C5 Corvette.
Real good, dude.
The C5 Corvette makes it up on its drivability and technology because here's the first one with a rear transmission
Yep.
and the handling of
And an
that car.
LS.
Yeah,
With
yeah,
an
None
LS
of
for
those
the
things
first
you just said had anything to do with drivability or technology.
No,
You
it
just said-
does. No. Shut up. That having the transmission in the back made that car super balanced, and it's a great car. Like it drives great. It's fast as hell. It was lighter than the C4. I think they used like different materials and all that. Like it was the start, the beginning of the
Yeah.
new Corvette, and like yeah,
Right.
I had one.
The new era. of
exactly.
Corvette.
I had a
The
C5.
engineers were in lab coats, just really just
Yeah.
dialing in
Yep.
everything.
Whether they
and then they
needed to be in a lab coat or not, they had
Yeah.
them on.
but then
Yeah.
they pass it off to the interior crew, and they're like, "Fuck it," and then just like put the car out.
But that's true.
Well, dude, you got to save money somehow. You can't make a $50,000 sports car better than
Yeah.
a Ferrari
Yep.
with luxurious interior, dude. Something's got to give.
Something's
Come
gotta
on
give.
now.
Sure, I guess.
Yeah.
All right, we gotta talk about Drift Week
Yes.
at some point here. So you drove
Yeah.
around in this mostly stock Corvette with some badass suspension, and no doubt you had fewer problems than everyone else, right?
I think so. I think Adam had a pretty solid car too,
Fucking Adam.
but he was doing like wheel alignments and changing front tires and bending wheels and like stupid shit the entire time. So I
Mhm.
think it was more reliable in that aspect where I could literally hop on from one, like finish a track day, load that shit up, leave everybody behind, drive 100 miles an hour with my cruise control on, quietly watching movies on my laptop or on my iPad, and get there 100% and not have
Dude.
to worry about like tires. or
Watching
little things
movies
here
while
or there.
driving.
Oh yeah. Well, we
Okay,
actually
all right.
we watched The Office, and then we watched the new Dave Chappelle special on Netflix.
Yeah. You can
And
kind of
then, of course,
autopilot.
Kevin Hart.
Yeah.
Hart. We watched a couple of Kevin Harts. Yeah.
Everyone can autopilot while doing The Office at this point, though. You know,
Yeah.
we've all seen it so many times.
So many times. Yeah.
It's so
but you
crazy because everybody's fixing their cars. Matt Phil is doing upgrades on his car.
Yeah, I did.
You went to Texas Speed and got like new lifters. You didn't need them.
Yeah.
I just gotta upgrade the car. I mean, while everybody's broken.
It was one of those things where like I knew I needed them for a while, but I forgot to buy them from them when my dad built the engine, and I was like, the stock shit'll be good for a little while. And then I realized I'm like, damn, I'm about to put a lot of miles on this thing, and I was like,
Yeah.
and I'm here at Texas Speed, and I was like, I'll just get them and do it in the driveway one day. Screw it.
Yeah. We did that sick LS swap on that car, right? Oh wait,
Yeah,
no.
that's the
Good
first
job,
thing you gotta
Sam.
do.
Yeah. Oh wait, you actually just had an LS. So.
Yeah, I
mean,
just have cars with LSs now. That's it.
yeah,
That's
like
all I
we've
have.
said,
Yeah.
for the longest time since you started going Corvette, it's like oh, everyone else is swapping LSs. You just go straight to the source, baby.
That's it, man. That's it. GM boy.
I heard
Uh,
somebody told us that you had a torque tube issue and you just got a new one sent to you.
Yeah, so that situation was pretty crazy, right? We're at Muscleman Honda Circuit, which is a sick kart track in
Yeah.
Tucson.
I've drifted there.
And it's rad, dude. It's one of
Yeah.
the best kart tracks I've ever driven, and I've driven
Is
a
it?
lot, and that's
It's the only one
of
I've
the
driven,
best.
so that's all I know.
Well, that's the only one that matters. That's it.
Nice.
That and Parker are like the two good ones.
It's almost like a real racetrack, not a kart track, but it has that
Yeah.
kart track asphalt.
Yes, and
Word.
it has a kart track feel though, because there's like
Yeah.
quick transitions and short laps where you don't need a serious car to have fun there.
It is a mirror replica of Suzuka, actually.
Is it?
Yep, it's like
Ah.
pretty much a flipped version of Suzuka.
I didn't know that
That
at
makes
all.
sense.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Well, you're not a JDM fanboy, Sam.
Shut the fuck up, I am. Don't you ever question that.
Yeah, look at your seat, huh?
Ooh,
How do
boom.
you say that? How do you say that?
Bride.
You know,
Oh,
okay, look at you.
Nice try, asshole.
All right. Anyways, I'm drifting. I'm having a great time, and I let the kid Santino. He works for me. I let him take the car out. Like every track, I let him take it out for a couple laps, burn off a set of tires, whatever. The kid works hard, and he's out there, and the torque tube blows up while he's driving.
Oh,
So
no.
he's like, he thinks he did it. He's like he saw a ghost, dude. He was like, I don't know what happened. The car won't move. Like he's freaking out, right? And I go out there and we start looking around, and I'm like, holy shit! Like I don't know what's wrong, but the radio screen is broken and everything's cracked. I'm like, I don't know about this, dude. We got to figure this out. So we jack it up, and I'm like, oh, okay. Literally, the torque tube broke. So what happened was there's rubber couplers inside of the torque tube.
Right, you're
that
not joking about the
basically
radio screen?
No,
It actually broke as
yes.
I thought you were
I'll
like
tell you.
I thought you were
No.
doing a bit about how like, man, what'd you do to the car? The radio's broken. Looks like this window
No.
doesn't fall down. Like, no, it was.
Yes, and the
Okay.
reason why when the rubber coupler blew up in the front, it shocked the torque tube and like lifted it up, and the shifter is mounted to the torque tube. It ripped the shifter off of it,
shit.
and it went, and it was in second gear, and it still went and smacked the screen and broke the radio.
Wow.
Cool. Good
So
job.
we were just so confused at how this happened, and I knew we weren't done because I know that I can do that torque tube quickly, and like the kid Santino, he works with me on the Corvettes all the time, so I'm like, we'll get this done. It's not a problem. But the biggest bummer is we were supposed to leave that night to head to Adams because the next day was Adams, like literally back to back with a 7-hour drive in between.
Cool.
So I'm like, dude, there's no way I'm going to miss like one track day, right? By not being able to make it to Adams in the morning. But I can't find a torque tube anywhere. So one of Santino's friends who lives in Phoenix got on the phone, made like 1 million phone calls, messaged 1 million people on Instagram. I don't even know like why he decided he was going to do this for us, but he just out of the goodness of the heart is like, I got you guys. And sure enough, found a torque tube and bell housing and shifter, like the whole thing for
Damn.
$200.
What?
And then, yep, crazy. And then delivered it to us. And by the time, because there's a shop like right by there. What is it called? It's Fine Arc. The people that do like those sweet SR aluminum fan shrouds, like they do amazing work. But their shop's like right there. That's where like a bunch of us were working on our cars. And by the time we got the car there and took the torque tube out and like we waited 10, 15 minutes for the parts to show up, the parts showed up. We slammed that thing back together. I think the torque tube blew up at like 4:30 or 5 o'clock, and we were leaving that shop by 9 p.m.
That's insane.
Yeah.
So
and normally this is like a 2-day job to fix this fucking thing, and we like hammered it out.
So for people that aren't Corvette dorks and or me, describe how a torque tube is different than a drive shaft, because you're talking about a transmission engine in the front of every Corvette up until recently, transmission in the back, and a tube that connects the tube, but we don't call it a drive shaft, we call it a torque tube.
Right. So this is because here's the engine, right? This is where the engine sits. There's no room in a Corvette chassis for a transmission here because it's meant to be in the back. So a torque tube is literally like there's a drive shaft inside of a larger tube. That's basically like an extended bell housing. So if you can imagine the engine and then a really long bell housing with the drive shaft in it, and then it attaches to the transmission, which then bolts to the diff, which is awesome for weight balance. But if you need to do anything up there, you're pretty much screwed because all of this needs to come out. The subframe, the rear suspension, the shifter, all the linkage, there's wiring in there, and all that stuff has to come down so that you can get to the clutch,
Dude,
and the bell housing.
Just put an SR20 on it.
Would it be fair to say that it's an uncircumcised drive shaft?
It's an uncircumcised bell housing with a drive shaft inside of it. It's got a lot of shit going.
That's like the Aliens movie.
Yes.
Okay, gotcha.
Damn.
Is there fluid around the drive shaft in that housing, or no?
No,
It just is a protective housing around a shaft that is internal to your transmission.
Right.
Essentially.
So if you think about it, like the engine has engine mounts, and a normal car also then has a trans mount right behind it. But because the trans mount's at the back of the car, you need something that'll like couple the engine to the gearbox and not be able to flex. So that's why you have like a tube instead of just a drive shaft that can flop around.
On your FD car,
we're getting real nerdy here.
Yeah.
I know,
We're
but it
getting
happens.
so fucking nerdy.
Whenever we do a show with you or anyone, it's like, oh, when I tell them, it's like, that's gonna be 2 hours, and they're like, how the fuck does that happen? This is how it happens, because it just quickly goes down.
Well, also,
but then it segues, and we're here to talk about Drift Week. But I'm also curious, like on your FD car now, do you have a custom torque tube setup? Like, because everyone gets custom drive shafts on FD cars, so.
So with me this year, and I guess I'll announce it here. That's cool. I am putting a 6XD, which is Rick from RTS, partnered with G-Force and partnered with some other people to make their gearbox. So because now my torque tube is custom, but before it did not need to be custom. So now there's a lot of engineering and a lot of tech and a lot of billet parts that are going to be going into this car because I wanted to keep the gearbox in the back, even though it has been not a nightmare, but like on the S14, for instance, I gotta pull the gearbox. It takes me 15 minutes, no joke. I gotta pull the gearbox on the Corvette. It's an hour, no matter what. It's an hour. So it's a lot more work, and sometimes I shoot myself in the foot, and every once in a while I wish that I would put the transmission in a normal spot, but that's literally why like me and my boys and people love Corvettes, is because it's got the weird shit, right? It is what it is. The weight balance is great, and I think the guys over there are going to take care of me, and we're going to have an amazing product, I think.
Nice.
And the good thing about this is that up until recently, there hasn't been a whole lot of solutions for Corvettes who want sequential gearboxes and quick changes, and now this is going to be the solution.
That was my next question. I'm embarrassed to ask at this point because I never thought about it for you. It's like everyone does quick changes, and it's like, oh, wait a second, you're essentially transaxle. The back end of the car doesn't really allow for that, does it?
Yeah, but it does because you literally have to mount the gearbox, smash it up against the diff. So
Interesting.
There's some cool stuff going on. And my biggest thing is that like I have an American car. I'm an American driver. My shop is in America. Most of my partners are in America. And
You eat hamburgers, you
Yeah.
ride cows, you suck
That's it.
things, you do whatever.
So now my gearbox is all those things too.
Hell
Nice.
Made in America.
So, should we talk about Drift Week a little bit more?
Yeah, let's do that.
Hard.
Let's do it.
What was
so let me ask you guys, because obviously you guys
Oh.
had like 4 or 5 people on ahead of me.
Yep.
Because I don't want to talk about the exact same shit that they did, right? But,
Yeah.
So let's talk about something that they all did not talk about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
we
one of the
talked
thing-
about.
Uh-huh.
Go ahead, Fox.
Yeah, one of the things like we didn't talk about it, but everybody just said that some Corvette driver decided to sabotage the other Corvette driver, and he was saying like pretty much every other Corvette broke. One blew out an engine, the other one caught on fire, and miraculously only one Corvette stayed alive. Like, what a coincidence.
Well, my car stayed alive because I built that thing, right? Like, I totally approached Drift Week like I would a Formula Drift round or like any competition, a desert race, a kart race, drifting, like whatever. I didn't approach it like finishing my car the last second and barely making it on time and like totally shit in the bed and that. Like, I took my time. I knew when the deadlines were. I went and I prepped the hell out of everything, like every nut and bolt. It was a fresh engine, fresh gearbox, fresh diff, all fluids changed, all new belts. Like, I went over the top with it. And obviously I had everything that I could possibly need. I had all the spare suspension, every single suspension arm I had spares of. I had spare shit that I knew I wasn't going to need, but I bought it anyways. And I brought the tools to do any work that I would need. So I think the reason why I finished is because I took this way too seriously.
Fucking,
Nice.
fucking try hard.
Yeah. Yep. But what am I going to do? Am I going to like get broken down in the middle of bumfuck nowhere, Texas and be like, damn it, I really wish I had that one tie rod and a couple of tools. Like, no,
Yeah.
fuck no. Hell no. No. Mm-mm.
I still have like a Rubbermaid bin in my tiny like 500 square foot house. I have a Rubbermaid bin of like stock parts from my S14 that I haven't seen in 2 years. I'm like, what if I need that
Well,
window motor? I don't know, man. I might need that window motor.
I'm not going to be left with my windows down and the rain coming in.
Yeah.
Hell no, dude. Fuck
Yeah.
no.
Of course. Well, your preparation for this for fun event that you're not supposed to try too hard at, Matt.
I know.
Is,
See, that's the funny thing with these things. It's cool not to try hard, right? But
Yeah.
for me, I'm like, no, fuck that. You know what's not cool? Being stuck in the side of the road
in Texas.
in Texas with nothing out there.
Yeah. Well, good on you, man. What was your? I feel like with the first half of the show, we asked everyone what their high point was. What was your low point? What was the worst, shittiest part of it?
Definitely when the torque tube blew up, but only. And I don't mind doing the work. You know, I'm a worker, dude. I'll put in the hours. The biggest downside was when I was making call after call after call and not coming up with any parts.
Did you
like,
call
there
Paco?
No, I did not call Paco.
Paco's a Corvette dork, lives in Phoenix. Come on,
I
guys.
know. No, he's a C4 dork. That's
C3.
That's a different level.
Get it right, bro. C3, we're not the same.
Oh yeah, C3 dork. Even that's like we're
He's
eras
moved
apart,
back.
dude.
He's moved
We're
back.
eras. Light years away.
Yeah.
At that point, that was the lowest, just because I was like, I might not be able to get the parts. Like I might be stuck here for however long until I can get the parts. And like I probably felt that way for 35 minutes until stuff started putting itself together. But for like 35 minutes of the whole trip, I was like, dude, I could actually be screwed here. Like I could actually be fucked.
That's one of the most beautiful things about the car community that is gonna all disappear within our lifetimes, which is like such a special. I mean, I don't mean that in like a fatalistic way. It's just special in this time we live in right now. That it's like there is this world. I'm getting chills thinking about it. There's this world that exists out there right now that it's like there's still a bunch of passionate people about this weird ass terrible thing that we do, and terrible and wonderful thing that we do. But it's like you're on this weird ass drift car mission where you're doing really stupid shit across every track that you can get your hands on across 3 states. And you break a very specific car or part on a pretty specific car. Not that there's not a lot of Corvettes made, but you're looking for it. in a very tight time frame in a place
Yeah.
that you guys don't live.
And it is
and
kind of
you guys-
specific because there's like a year range, right? Like I
Yeah.
needed from this year to this year. Like it's unbelievable.
But there's still enough car bros out there and greasy guys that God bless them and have their shit together. That like, you know what? I don't. You know, you call one person like, I don't know if I have that, but I actually met a guy 2 months ago who knew another guy that might have that in his shop, and it's like these people just interconnect, and then they get $200 for it. One person gets $200 for it. Like everyone just like spends all their time trying to tell people like this shit's gonna disappear when cars get simplified and more reliable. And the you know, people like Matt and I and Paco all die because we work too hard on cars and smell too much gas. Not me personally, I don't work too hard on cars. I work too hard in general, but we've
Putting in hours, yeah.
We've snorted enough fumes. We all are just gonna disappear, and then no one will know that this life existed of a bunch of weird ass car people making late night phone calls to find torque tubes in Phoenix.
Yep.
And find
Hey,
another radio.
you know what?
Did you need radio? That's the big question. Did you have no music from there?
Yeah, we bought a blue because that was the 7-hour drive, right? That we did in like 4 hours, and we stopped at a truck stop to buy a Bluetooth speaker, and it was the worst Bluetooth speaker in the world. It was $12, and it sounded like it. God damn it!
You want to give a shout out to that truck stop? Where was it?
I should go find it right now. Like pull it out of the trash and give a shout out to whatever shit brand that thing was. God damn it! God damn it!
God damn it, Matt. Well. We're glad you survived the Drift Week. Sounds like you came out okay. Did you win it? I know you're not allowed to say the results, but did you win?
Well, if I'm not allowed to say, how could I say?
Well,
Wink.
I mean, you could,
Blink twice if.
I gave you an out. You could have said I didn't win, but whatever.
And then blink twice if you won.
Oh, he's blinking the ton.
Shit, that's a lot.
I don't know. You can't. He'll get.
So highlight of my. I want to just go over this because this is fun.
Yeah,
and I've been telling all my boys, right? This is the best part, right? So the first track, right? We're at Harris Hill in Austin, right? And I'm the first guy out on track, and I'm shredding, doing my thing, waiting for all the boys to show up. I rip off a set of tires. I'm like sick. Then some people start coming out. I'm not even going to get specific with who it was because it was everybody.
Oh.
But literally, somebody will come out, and I'll be like, oh, dope, for sure. And I hop in, give the thumbs up. They give the thumbs up, go into the first corner, initiate, send it right off course. And I'm like, what the fuck, dude? Like, okay, whatever. Screw that guy. And I'll just go find the next person. I'll be like, yo, what's up? You're good? I'll rip off a lead lap. They'll follow me. All right, you go. Thumbs up. Go to initiate, right off track. And I'm like, dude, what the? And it's getting to the point where I'm initiating and I'm flying off track too because they're leading me off track, right? And I'm like,
you're part
right,
of Chelsea.
whatever.
I mean, all these guys are pretty not FD competition level. That's not true. There's a bunch of dudes in this pack that are at least Pro 2 level drivers, but I mean, you can't talk too much shit on these kids.
I'm not talking shit.
I know it's not shit. You're right. You're right. You're right. It's not talking shit.
I'm not lying. This
Yeah.
is exactly what happened. Okay.
Yeah.
Then we go to the next track, right? And then I do the same thing. I'm the first guy out. I'm jumping my car. Chelsea and I go out and shred. Chelsea's car breaks. So I'm like, okay, cool. I'm waiting for people to show up, right? And then Aaron comes out, right? Lone Star Drift, Aaron, the guy who puts this thing together. And I'm following him on his car on the first lap. It's like the third quarter on the first lap. And I'm so damn close to him. And he sends it off track in front of me. And I bury it at Sandy and I get stuck, like one tire off. Because my car's like this high off the ground. And I have to get pushed off. It blows my fucking rocker out, cracks my rocker, which you can't like just easily replace on those cars. And I'm just like, God damn it, dude. Again, like, fuck. So then what I started doing, this is what I did. I waited for like an hour and a half for everyone to get warmed up. And everyone's like doing their thing and spinning out and getting accustomed to the track. And then we're at the next track, right? And I'm like, all right, sweet. Everyone's warmed up. I mounted some tires, had some coffee, had a little bit of lunch. It's like 11:30. I'm like, all right, it's time to go out. This is perfect. First lap out. And this is with like Fink and Adam and Mesker and like all the rad dudes, right? Everyone is in this little tandem on the skid pad. And it's my first lap out. And I'm like the fifth car back. We initiate, we make it around the track, and then all of a sudden, everybody just stops. Dunk, 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 dunk. And I stop and I like touch Fink with my splitter, right? Like just touch him. And then here comes Adam, just boom, smashes into the right front of my car, annihilates his door, shatters his glass in the door because the window was down, and then knocks my alignment out. Like, fortunately, I didn't have any body damage or just like some suspension stuff. But again, I'm like, God damn it. I waited an hour and a half for all you dickheads to get warmed up, and then sure enough, We all get stacked up, and I feel bad for Adam. I feel worse for Adam because he definitely got the worst of it. Shattered his window.
Oh,
blew
poor
out a-
Adam. He's doing
blew
better
out a
than all of
door.
us. He'll be fine.
Still though, I mean, right? We were like
I know.
day 3 or 3rd track of Drift Week, and he's got a blown out window. Right? It
Yeah.
kind of sucked. He made a plexi one and like taped it. He did a good job with repairing it, but that was and which is why I posted the videos of like Fielding and Whitnick just sending it right off course in front of me, because again, we're like, all right, yeah, we're feeling good. Let's do this, boys. And Fielding is like notorious for this. I swear to God, that guy will literally on his first lap or his 10th lap, the second he gets in front of me, send it right off course. And I'm like, we weren't even drifting, dude. Where did he go?
Well, congratulations, Matt. You're better than a bunch of amateur drifters on a track.
No,
Don't try and be good, you fucking dude.
I know. No, it was so much fun. But those things I just had to because again, I took it way too seriously. I'm like, I'm not braking. I'm making it to the end. There's no doubt about it. But it was so much fun.
You treated it like an endurance race.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I treated it like an off-road race. Like I didn't drive too hard. I didn't drive too soft. I wanted to win the challenges. I wanted to do all that. Yeah.
Mentioning Adam just now is funny because you came to the RS thing that night before your last day.
Yeah.
Adam LZ was there. We've had him on the show twice now. I feel like we've established a little bit of like a rapport with him, but like I was just like, "How's your time, man?" And like I tried to get real with him, just to like hear about how the time was, and all he could do was just talk about drifting and how exciting drifting cars was. And he's like on and on about drifting cars, and not like in a boring way, but he was just really enthused about drifting cars and talking about cars and motors. I'm like, it's weird that he's the real deal. It's like I feel like a lot of the YouTubers I've had the chance to come across are kind of pieces of shit.
Yeah.
Adam seems like a pretty decent guy. And
no, he is.
off
And you know what's funny?
in real life.
He's so knowledgeable. He's very knowledgeable, but he knows shit that I don't even know. You know?
Yeah,
like,
he's
the
legit.
nerdy drift shit that I'm like, I have no fucking idea what he's talking about. But I mean, he obviously knows what he's talking about. Like way more nerdy shit than even I know, because he's that into it.
He's the real deal. Yeah, that's what's fun about him. So it's like anytime I talk.
And he can actually drive. I will give it to him.
Absolutely.
He's not like one of those dudes who just like drives for videos. Like he drives because he cares about driving, and he can fucking wheel.
Even though he ran into your door, Adam, get good.
Wasn't his fault. I thought it was Fink's fault, and actually Fink and I almost got in a fight because I walked up to him and I'm like, "What the fuck are you doing?" And I start screaming at him, and then he's just like, "Hang on." And you know what's funny? You know that you're being a hothead asshole when Fink says, "Matt, you fucking hothead." If Fink's gonna call you a hothead?
Is he a hothead? I don't know.
Yeah.
Dude.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Good.
Absolutely. So, yeah. After that, I calmed down. I was like, wow, he's much bigger than me.
Yeah. Those fucking Aussies. God damn it. I hate that they have to be much stronger than us.
They have that.
Stay Sideways has a super chat before we let you go to the night. He says, DeNofa says he's winning 2020. How are you stopping him?
Ooh, I guess I just got to win as many challenges as I possibly can. I feel like my car is going to be solid, good to go. I'll probably have a better Bluetooth speaker this time, so there's no doubt I'm going to win. I mean, come on.
I think
I'd say slash his tires or just like take away the glue, whatever.
But
with Chelsea, he got disqualified because he trailered his car in between things. So, but he had to go to the demo in St. Louis.
Yeah, he had to go to St. Louis demo. I get it.
I totally get it. But he was disqualified, so he was never gonna.
But I think Stay Sideways is talking about Formula Drift, because DeNofa says he's winning Formula Drift. So what are you doing to stop him?
He looks like he lost audio.
Oh.
Matt.
Oops.
Matt, what you done?
Are you
Sorry,
back?
hold on.
Okay.
Complications, headphones, charging, battery, all that.
Professional.
He's at home. He's got no excuse.
Are we back?
So yeah.
There we go.
So saying Stay Sideways, I think he meant Formula Drift,
picture.
because DeNofa says he's winning Formula Drift. So what are you doing to stop him?
Whew.
So
for me, the biggest thing is just driving more. That's my biggest thing. I think that Chelsea drives a whole lot too, though, so he's tough to beat. But that's my ticket in. I feel like my car needed a couple of things that I'm addressing during this off season. Every year, it's gotten better and better. I need to get to that better level. And I think that the only way to do it is by driving. And fortunately for me, Odie and I have been training a lot. We're planning on training even more during the off season. So I hope to get at least like another 10 days under my belt before Long Beach of straight driving. So
Nice.
that's going to be my way.
Fucking chumps beat James Dean already. I'm sick of it.
I thought he was your fave, dude.
No. No, he's a very nice man, and I couldn't ask for anyone else to be the 3-time. If you were a 3-time champ, you'd be a dickhead to everyone.
Oof.
You would suck. You would suck to be around. Dean is at least humble about it.
Here comes
He's a solid
3 times
dude.
champion Matt Field.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, Matt Field, God forbid you get better than James. You win 4 championships. Oh, I never hear the end of it.
and driving a Corvette. Imagine
we
that.
cannot be friends. Yeah, I know.
No, I really hope you beat the shit
Yeah,
out
dude.
of Dean. I hope Chelsea learns to drive less hard. I hope you learn to. I feel like you don't have to drive less hard because you drive the right amount of hard. What's your biggest problem?
See, I think with me, it's always like that 1%, you know? It's either 1% too hard or 1% too soft. So that 1% is pretty hard to dissect or say which way it went if you're not a judge watching every single run, right? Like in Sam, you're not there watching every single run. You see the gist of it, or you get the feeling, or you kind of understand the flow of the event. But you got a guy like Chelsea who, yeah, I agree, he's over the top, right? And then you got some guys maybe like Dye who don't push it hard enough, but still do good, but maybe don't push it hard enough. So I feel like I'm right on that edge, but literally that last 1% is what wins and loses you battles, and I'm kind of just floating right there. I win some, I lose some. I do okay, but I feel like I need to be, pushing one way more than the other.
And then I say we kind of end the show where we began it. How do you feel about Robbie as a judge? We announced the top secret information at the very start of the show. No one saw it coming. Mr. Roberto Nishida, as Paco might say, has become the new FD judge. How do you feel about that, having a driver in that seat?
Stoked about it, 100% stoked. Robbie and I have actually been pretty close since I started. Robbie was one of the dudes who, when I was brand new, gave me the time of day, didn't, treat me just like a dumb kid that I had no idea what I was doing, like answered my questions for me, steered me in the right direction. He was definitely a friend early on, and I was very excited when he got the driver's steward position because I've been in the situation where if Robbie was there, I would not have gotten screwed like I did. And they'd never had a position that Robbie had. So being able to communicate with him and work on things and help do rulebook things and data acquisition stuff that he's on board with, and work with him and Kevin Wells on that has been great. So I think that he's only going to be that much better as a judge. Plus,
that's what a lot
he knows
of
how to drive.
That's what you drivers have wanted. You wanted a driver in the box. See,
I'm okay with not having a driver. Yeah. It's just more about having an open mind and an open heart. Like, this sport is constantly changing, and
you're
if
saying
you're
that Andy
stuck
Yin
in your
had
ways,
none of those things.
Not what I'm saying, but I mean, like, there's Andy is not one of the most people, a person with the most open of mind. Everyone knows that. I'm sure he can be the first to admit that. And Robbie is the guy who's like takes this every day at a time, because that's how the sport is literally changing that quickly.
Who's gonna be the steward now, though?
I don't know.
Maybe
have you guys heard?
Chris Stewart from Grid Life. He's a steward. He's already a steward. No, I don't know. I'm just making that up. I have no idea. We'll have to talk. We're finally. I feel like we finally a little bit cleared the hump of the off season a little bit, and like we can stop fucking off and kind of get together a little bit. Except for I'm going to be out of town for the next more or less 3 weeks, guys. You're going to really have to get it together in this podcast.
Wow.
Other than that, we'll get it together. It should start to come together on drifting and FD, I should say, and we'll talk to you.
I mean, you guys see all the cars coming back together, all the people posting like they're going testing, they're doing this. I mean, there's two sides. There's some guys who haven't taken their cars apart. There's some guys who haven't gotten their cars apart.
Who?
Guys who
Tell
cars
us.
are almost going. Oh, like I think Dye and Essa both have not taken their competition cars fully apart. They're still driving them. Like they were driving last week with Odie.
Get it together. Well, it sounds like you're on the right path, and a couple of other boys we talked to are on the right path. But we'll definitely catch up with you at some point, whether for a full show or a pre-LB show or whatever. But as always, thanks for taking the time. You're one of our favorite guests. Despite your behavior, we like you.
Well, I continue to come on here because I enjoy it. Absolutely.
Awesome.
And you guys know I'm an open book. I like sharing information and I like talking about drifting. So
Hell
you gotta
yeah.
make it easy.
I'll call you in a few hours.
Later, guys.
We're definitely
See
gonna
you,
do a nerdcast one of these days, like full
Yeah.
tech.
Oh yeah. Let me know when you guys want to do. So I actually do want to talk to you guys about this real quick.
Here we fucking go.
I just reading the comments both on YouTube because now I have my YouTube channel and I've been posting daily videos of Drift Week and reading the comments on that and reading all the stuff that I've been posting on Instagram, the comments on that. It is crazy to see how many people are like, "You are changing my mind about a Corvette." Like,
Nice.
I want a Corvette. I want to get rid of this and I want to get a Corvette.
Yeah.
So I feel like at some point, if you guys want to, we can talk and really like break down the nerdiness of the
Is
Corvette.
Chevy
because-
paying you yet? Because they fucking need to be.
I know.
Clearly.
I know. Those dickheads, they need to wake up. for
Whoa.
real.
Hey, we have a segment called "Shitting on Chevys." Are you trying to say
Yeah, like
that
that's been
we-
a long time segment on the show that I think that
Really?
why did a
Well, we
special
just did
episode?
with the interior, right? With the
Yeah.
interior of the C5.
But
that
there
was,
you
I mean,
go.
That was like
That's-
a 10-minute.
That's not debatable. That is a fact. That's not like that's not anything you can really talk about.
But-
It just exists
It's
as
true.
it is.
But
Yeah.
are we
Spare
gonna
parts bin.
have to create a new segment nerding on Chevys?
No, we're
Yeah.
gonna come up with a proper name for it, but I'm
Okay.
very much looking forward to this Matt Field show talking about the super nerd talk of Chevys.
Yep.
So
Sick.
Yep, I
Awesome,
want
man.
to, for sure.
Perfect.
enjoy getting back to work and working on cars all night, you sick bastard. But
I know. I
we
know.
love it.
Bye, guys.
Hey, thanks,
Thank
man.
you.
Have a good night.
Bye.
Whew. Let's see. I think we're out of
I
guests,
feel-
Sam. What do you think?
We are. I feel like I feel like I don't know much more about Drift Week than when I started. No, just kidding. We know a lot. We know a lot, and that's I like the fact that we get on good tangents with people, and we had our favorite FD drivers. Some of our favorite, I should say. There's more. There's more than just two, but
That's a
Chelsea
good
and
episode.
Field.
We had
Chelsea
some
and
news.
Field are on here. Dan is such a wonderful man, and Dan the wonderful man. No, he's still Dan Sprocket. It's fine. Bewick and sorry for his name for a second. Is it Joe?
Joe.
Bewick and Joe, and of course Shredding, the Shredding Field man.
What kind of last name is that?
It's a
Shredder.
fucking, that last name is Shreds.
Dude.
That's what it is. I
It's-
love it. I'm
Yeah,
really
it's
excited. I
fucking.
do
It's
wanna
perfect.
do- What was that?
No, I'm saying like it's perfect. Like for like being a drifter, especially one that breaks a lot of stuff. Shredder, you know.
Yeah, I'm really excited to talk to him about him and everyone else, I should say, about
Yes.
the hyperdrive show. If we talked about it right after the show came out, but like all the actual drift community, like real drifters, seem pretty pissed about it because it was super basic in some levels.
Yeah.
Which I get the criticism because we watched it and we thought that too, but it's like I get that it's not for us, which is the important thing. But I want to talk about the people experiences that were actually on the show because it's just cool that Netflix invested money and people invested time watching it, making it, and anything that gives a little bit of light to our little community is cool. And then we've got our nerd show to look forward to that we just arranged with Matt Field to hear all about the nerd dynamics of Chevy.
Maximum
which I'm sure-
Nerdcast.
I mean, pretty much Corey can install another doorbell and I can just sit quietly, just amazed at Chevy facts while you and him dork out about Corvette shit. But
Well, we can. I don't. If you. I mean, you said you're gonna be busy for the next couple of weeks.
yeah, you guys gotta do shows when I'm not in town, man. This is a busy start of the year. I'm gonna be in Barcelona for Barcelona.
Dude,
excuse me.
you have to give my sister a ring. She
will.
and Chris, her husband, live in Barcelona,
Oh,
and you met her before.
fine. Yeah.
Yeah, go. Fucking, she'll show you guys nice places to eat.
I'm going to be hanging out in Barcelona. I
Yeah.
will be doing a little bit of shooting with F1. Doing some
You
doing
gotta-
some F1 testing. And I don't leave till Sunday. So actually I could do a show next week. My mom will be in town. Maybe my mom will be on the show with us. Well, we'll see about next week. But then, yeah, I'm 2 weeks out.
Are you gonna be shooting with Carlos Sainz?
I will be with Carlos Sainz. I'll be with
Alonso?
I will be with Lewis Hamilton. I will be with Daniel Ricciardo. I will be with the rest of them.
No, Fernando Alonso.
I've actually been assigned to do. I shouldn't talk
Oh.
too much about it, but it's like I might have to fly a drone at some point, and I'm
Okay.
kind of concerned. Not concerned. I'm practicing. I'm practicing
Okay.
a lot
Okay.
because suddenly my casual drone flying fun has been elevated to a task that
Drone
requires
operator.
being an effective pilot around
Nice.
the most highly paid, highly skilled drivers in the world. So
Super expensive cars too.
I've got to figure out my shit.
Yeah, you better
So I'm gonna
start
work on that
practicing.
all the next week.
Nice.
Yeah,
Dude, that's
my
badass,
plan.
man. Good for you.
Yeah, I guess. I'm just excited about jamon y tapas.
See. That's see.
And scooters. I've got to go to AAA tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. to get my international scooter license.
Nice.
Yes. quite
Perfect.
excited.
Good.
I'm going to be texting you constantly with the words that people are saying to me and asking you what they mean.
Live translation. Okay.
Yes.
Perfecto.
That is all.
Awesome.
Well,
Well, let's-
Corey's still installing his third doorbell now. I don't know why he needs 3 doorbells, but whatever gets him through.
Well-
He hasn't signed on to Twitch yet, so I don't have a lot of
Yeah.
ammunition to shit on him. I'm sure that once the show ends, he's just eagerly awaiting to play some Apex. Matt Field needs to learn what Apex is. He still doesn't know. So, Corey, if you could tell him, that'd be good. Paco, you want to thank some Patreones here?
Yeah, let's actually thank our Patreons. We had I mean, we thank our new Patreons last episode, and it couldn't do it. We couldn't be doing this show without you guys. So we have a lot of patrons going on right now. So we promise we're gonna get back on schedule. We've been slacking a little bit recently, mostly.
Not slacking. No,
not
I've been
slacking.
on the road.
Yeah,
Corey's
exactly.
been installing doorbells. There's a lot of stuff going on here.
But yeah, no, I mean, thank you guys for supporting the show. Thanks. It's because of you that we are doing this, and we have
Because we
money
ran out
to
of
feed our.
sponsors, too.
Yeah, exactly.
Minus Grid Life. Thanks,
Except Grid Life. Grid Life's still with us. So I mean, I'm actually wearing the hat right now because
That's that. That's a nice hat. You got a nice little pin there.
Yeah, like
Chris
a little
Stewart's van.
tiny van.
And I've been in conversation with them for doing our drift draft. We started the drift draft last year, I believe.
Awesome.
And that's our kind of like announcement of who's driving at Grid Life. It's not about skill. It's more about making a cool show for everyone and getting drivers from the pros on down to the Joes.
And speaking of
people do
Grid
cool shit.
Life and vibes, Brian made a video from Grid Life Colorado, Alpine Horizon.
Oh. What's in it?
He called it Grid Life Alpine Vibes. And it's
Oh.
actually a take on the people behind the scenes. So there's
Oh, cool.
Greg Bussell and
Oh, yeah. I saw them filming that.
yeah, and
that was the
Killeen
time
and-
when I saw you were doing like a really intimate interview, and then I went into the bathroom right next to that room where you're doing an intimate interview.
That's
and I had
that's the
myself-
sound in the background, Brian.
Yeah, that's we got it
That
on
was
audio.
the-
It's okay.
the rumble.
That makes sense. Sorry
Yeah.
about that.
But yeah, it's
Oh,
like
you're
a
fine.
it's like
It's
a
all good.
25-minute mini documentary about the people behind the scenes and
Yeah.
the vibes. It's literally that's what it is. It's all about the vibes.
Big vibes.
Smiles and vibes.
It's about those big vibes.
Yeah,
But yeah, there's
so
Grid Life Alpine Horizon and Grid Life Midwest coming up incredibly soon, actually. It's creeping up. Our
Yeah.
2 biggest favorite events of the year. So we're excited about those and check them out. Patreon is, of course, thank you. And everyone else, sponsor the show.
We are open for sponsors right now.
Or else, really. I mean, I've never threatened people on the show before. And if I have,
Please do it.
find
Please.
it, record it, show me, because I guarantee it, it's never happened. But if you don't sponsor the show, I'll fucking find you. And I will hit you.
I'll hate you.
And I'm violent. You've seen me.
Oh, dude.
I lose my shit. Matt Field is talking about people that get hot-headed. I'm the hottest head out there, kids. I'm hot. Look at this head.
This looks so red right
I'm
now.
burning up.
Well,
Super hot.
let's go cool down in bed.
All right. Oh, together?
Oh.
That'd be weird.
It's a little. That's the last time I was in bed in your house. I was woken up by Corey's.
You're shook.
By
Absolutely shook by Corey's
Corey's
fart from the fart video that
disgusting.
he'll never show
Yeah.
us. I can't believe I don't have a copy of that. Someone mentioned it in stream earlier. Corey, release the fart video or else. God damn it. I
Yep.
can't believe I'm still saying this. I never thought I'd be saying this in 2020.
I mean,
Someday. Either
Hey.
way, thanks for listening, guys.
Thanks, everybody.
We should see you next Tuesday. Next
Thursday.
Thursday. We don't know. We're going to make sure to try to get something out there. And then these guys are going to hopefully continue the show while I'm in España. Otherwise, I'll do one at like 2 a.m. or whatever España time is for this time here just to make sure we happen.
Awesome.
But we'll be there.
cool.
Thank you for listening.
Thanks, Brian,
Hey,
for being
Thanks, Brian. Thanks, Triple
control of
Bay.
the controliums. And
Can we call it Brian Triple Bay in 2020 instead of Triple B?
Triple Bay.
Yeah, Triple Bay Brian.
Triple Bay
official.
Brian, it is. Sounds
Thanks,
good.
Triple Bay.
All right, guys. Thanks so much for tuning in. We'll see you next week. Send us.